it is. Let's see. I have this other microphone that I can.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the City Council regular session for November 18th, 2025. I would now like to call, well, I've already done that. You can watch this, you can streamline this meeting on the city's YouTube channel, or you can watch it on the Longmont Public Media /watch, or on Comcast channels 8 and 880. Before I do anything with roll call, I would like to make a motion to allow Councilmember Christ to join this meeting virtually from the NLC convention. It's been moved, it's been seconded by Council Yarbrough, and can we have a vote? All those in favor? Thank you, that passes. Welcome, Diane. So can we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Peck,
Here.
Councilmember Christ, there we go, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Hidalgo Faring.
Here.
Councilmember Popkin.
Here.
Councilmember McCoy.
Here.
Councilmember Rodriguez.
Here.
Councilmember Yarbrough. Here. Mayor, you have a quorum?
Thank you. Let's stand for the pledge. As a reminder to the public, before I read anything further, for all of you who came to talk about the airport ordinance on landing fees, there is a process on second reading where you will be able to speak during the public hearing option, but you will not be able to speak at first call public invited to be heard or any other public invited to be heard during this meeting other than the public hearing under that second reading. So, also in accordance with the City Council's rules of procedure, the rules for providing public comment are as follows. Only Longmont residents and employees of the City of Longmont may speak during first call public invited to be heard. And then you must provide your address on the sign-up sheet before the meeting. I'm not going to call your name, obviously, if you're not on the sheet. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes, and we would like your name and address. Anyone may speak on second reading or public hearing item, and you're asked to add your name to the speaker list for the specific item before the meeting. If you did not add your name to that specific sheet, but you had put on the whatever you signed up on outside, the number of what you want to speak on, I will know it's on the public hearing item. Anyone may speak during final call public invited to be heard. And members of the audience shall refrain from disruptive, vulgar, or abusive language, applause, heckling, or any other actions that interfere with the orderly function of the council. May I have a motion to approve the October 28th, 2025 regular session minutes? It's been moved by Councilor McCoy, seconded by Councilor Yarbrough. Is there any discussion or changes? Seeing none, let's vote.
Councilmember Christ, I'm not seeing your vote.
Councilor Chris, can you just give us a verbal vote?
She gave a thumbs up.
She did? Oh, I can't even see
Yes,
that.
yes. Oh, yay.
She's a yay. And that carries unanimously. Thank you very much. We are now at agenda revisions.
Sorry, Mayor, one more set of minutes.
November.
Oh, we have
apologies.
another one.
Yeah.
Well, then, can I have a motion for the November 3rd, 2025 regular session minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved by Councilor McCoy, seconded by, Mayor Pro Tem Susie Hidalgo Faring. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, let's vote. Diane?
I'm a yay.
Okay, thank you.
It's not coming up, but I'm working on it.
That's okay.
There we go.
We can hear you. And that passes unanimously. Thank you. Now we are at agenda revisions for documents. Is there anyone that would like to make a motion on the agenda revisions or submission of documents to direct city staff? Councilor Hidalgo, Mayor Pro Tem Hidalgo Ferry.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to ask council to authorize Harold, our city manager, Harold Dominguez, to continue to work with Joan Peck, board secretary of the Front Range Passenger Rail.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Hidalgo Faring made the motion to allow me to work with our city manager, Harold Dominguez, as the board secretary for Front Range Passenger Rail District, and that was seconded by who? Councilor McCoy. Is there any discussion? Councilor Popkin?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Could you just elaborate more on the context for the motion for us?
So it allows us because she'll no longer be mayor, she'll no longer be sitting on the council. So then it allows these two to continue to have conversations around bringing Front Range Passenger Rail to Longmont. And to do that, her capacity on the board, to be able to bring that in and coordinate with the city manager.
Gotcha. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Seeing no one else in the queue, let's vote. Councilor Christ, verbal? You're muted. Okay, thank you. That passes unanimously. Thank you, Susie. Let's go back now. Councilor Yarbrough.
Thank you, Mayor Peck. Looking at the packet, and especially, I know a lot of people are here for the airport landing fees. When I went through the packet and everything, I just feel like I would like to make a motion that we have a rates and charges study before we can give an amount for landing fees, because landing fees need to be justified before we give a certain amount, and the cost and expenses related to the airport operations. Plus, with the rates and study charges will also provide us additional revenue opportunities that the airport can take, and then we can look and see what would be the best opportunities, revenue opportunities that the city can take, and also for the future, when the airport decide to, in 2028, to start on the master plan. I know that.
Okay, can you refine
Sorry.
that motion to one sentence?
Let's see. To have rates charges study before set landing fees amount, including the costs and expenses of airport operations, as well as revenue opportunities for the future. Yay!
Okay. So, Councilor Yarbrough made a motion, which I am not going to repeat until we're ready to vote, and that was seconded by Councilor Popkin. Councilor McCoy.
Yeah, just a clarification to maybe the clerk. If we are making this motion here, do we still talk about it on second reading tonight?
Yes. We do, because the ordinance allows us to look at the landing fees and anything else that is related to the airport. That's what the ordinance does.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure that we're not wasting people's time if it's kind of being taken off by this motion.
Let me, City Attorney, do you have anything to add to that, or did I state it correctly?
Mayor and Council, Eugene May, City Attorney. I'm trying to understand the motion. Can you repeat the motion?
The motion was to have rates, for us to have a rates and charges study before we decide to set landing fees amount. We do know that the last meeting that the landing fees was approved. And so just making sure that we can have this rates and charges study and including the costs and expenses of the airport operations as well as revenue opportunities for the future.
Okay, thank you for the clarification, Mayor and Council. As it's currently structured, the landing fees is a two-step process. The first step is the landing fee authorization ordinance, which is what's before you on second reading. The second step would be the actual setting of the rates and fees. And based on what Councilmember Yarborough is saying, it sounds like council could go ahead with step one, the landing fee authorization ordinance, do the rates and charges study, get feedback from the FAA, and then at a later time, the next council would be taking up the actual setting of the amount of rates and charges.
And that will be my motion once we pass this one.
Okay.
Counselor Popkin. And I see you, Diane. Okay, Counselor Christ.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm looking in my paperwork, and I think it may be part of Sandy Cedar's presentation, but she had mentioned a $30,000 fee to have an analysis done in terms of revenue generation, and also in regards to the veracity of landing fees. And so just to add to what Councilor Yarborough is saying, is I think I'd like to have that study done first. $30,000 is not very much money, and it would very much inform the council as to what way to go and what would be the proper mix, not only just in terms of the amount of landing fees, but if it will actually bring in the revenue that we hope to have. So I would very much support Councilor Yarborough's initiative. I just would like to have that study before we vote any further on landing fees.
Thank you. Counselor Popkin.
Thank you, Mayor Peck, and thank you, Councilmember Yarborough, for proposing this. I think if I understand the spirit of this, which is why I seconded it, it's actually to say, hey, let's understand the whole financial picture, including potential landing fee options, before we even go to the FAA to negotiate on that. That's my understanding of where you're coming from. Is that correct there? I'm seeing a nod, so I'll take that as yes. I appreciate that. That would, I think, help inform my decision-making on this because, and actually I think it would set the next council up with more information to make an informed decision on this. That's my understanding of that. I will also just speak as put on my hat of Airport Advisory Board liaison role for a moment and just note that there was a motion made to recommend a different kind of study or a holding period from the Airport Advisory Board last Thursday. It wasn't the same motion as you're making, but I think some of that spirit's reflected here to make sure that there's enough information for the next council to make an informed decision on all the options that would make sense. Thank you.
Councilor McCoy.
Thank you, Mayor Peck. I'm just trying to make sure that, we're treating people fair and equitably in regards to their time and consideration on this. And I kind of feel like if we don't have what Councilor Yarborough is talking about in front of us a little bit, then we get in here, we're just moving kind of forward with having a lot of people comment about something that none of us know the answer to. We don't know what we're even considering looking at amount-wise, if that, and it feels like it's a little bit of a rushed decision to go to the second reading tonight, to me.
Let me explain the second
Yeah, well,
reading.
I
It is
know, I
only
understand.
allowing us to set any kind of revenue fees,
Any kind.
any kind.
I
And that
just
is
wanna
what
make
the
sure
study
that-
will bring back to us.
Yeah, we just want to make sure that people are treated fairly, and not, have this cycle of over and over again, so.
If I can jump in, the ordinance is only allowing landing fees, not any fee.
Okay. Seeing no one else, let's vote. And that passes unanimously. Thank you, everyone. And now I would like to move to suspend the discussion on the airport landing fee, just to underline, until we get the study back. So we're not going to discuss the landing fees tonight at all. This is what my motion is for. I move to suspend the discussion on the airport landing fees until council gets the results of the study we just voted for.
Seconded.
I second that.
It's been moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Christ, and I will call on Councilor Popkin.
Yeah, just as I guess, a point of parliamentary procedure here, I wanted to understand, are we required to have a public hearing for an item that is on the agenda that is already currently on here? Or if we don't get to that point, does that not, because there's no decision then being made, does that, I mean, there's a decision being made one way or another if we vote to suspend versus not. And so I'm just checking, like, are we legally required in our charter to actually to have that public hearing as a result? So I want to make sure we're just not shortchanging our actual procedures here.
Mayor and Council, Eugene May, City Attorney, a couple of different thoughts. If council suspends an agenda item, then the agenda item is never called, so there is never an associated public hearing with that. The charter talks about having a public hearing before final passage of the ordinance. If you're not finally passing the ordinance, there is no requirement to have a public hearing.
Well, we're not, we are passing the ordinance. We are just not going to discuss the landing fees tonight. That's what my motion is. The ordinance allows council to do that at a certain time.
I guess, thank you
That's
for
my
both of those clarifications. I guess my understanding was that the ordinance was specifically about authorizing the use of landing fees.
It is, but we're not going we're not going to vote on putting landing fees in tonight. We are, my motion is to pass the ordinance to authorize council to put in landing fees. But
Right.
we do not have to vote on the landing fees tonight. The motion is to wait until,
Her motion handled that.
not really.
Yes, it did. Because it said that we wouldn't discuss them until we had a study. So there's,
Okay, this is,
it's this,
okay, Aaron, got it. Thank you.
Get legal counsel.
I will withdraw my motion.
I very much still agree with the motion.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think the original presentation probably should have been a zero reading. And I think we're too early to be having a second reading on this ordinance. So I still support your motion.
You know, I am going to disagree with you on that, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but here's the thing. And you may not agree with that, but I'm going to make the statement anyway. This is my last meeting. I made the motion. This ordinance will allow the next council to set landing fees. If we postpone the second reading later, then we will not perform the function of what we were going to do, which was to allow council to set landing fees through an ordinance.
I guess it's a parliamentary question that I have is, does the seconder also have to agree to a withdrawal? Could you weigh in? No. Attorney May?
Mayor and Council, I don't know the answer to that. I don't think so.
No, she can withdraw.
I think the maker of the motion can withdraw.
But you know what? I'm sorry, I'm not going to allow you to talk right at the moment. You know what, I am going to reinstate that motion because I've worked with Sandy all week and trying to figure out how the best way to do this for everyone. And so I am going to move to suspend the discussion on the airport landing fees with council until council gets the results of the study that we just voted for.
Mayor, if I might, would it help to add the word amount into your motion?
Sure.
The landing fee amount?
Thank you. That's a good point. To suspend the airport landing fee amount.
I think there's confusion because there's landing fees in the title of the ordinance. And in order to consider that, if you suspend all discussion on landing fees, then that ordinance, I think that's the
Thank you.
council's confusion. But if you
Okay.
added the word amounts,
How about if I move to suspend,
Amount and details?
or how, to suspend the decision on the amount of the airport landing fees until council gets the results of the study that we just voted for?
And I'm just saying details because there are also exemptions, potential weight limits. There's just more details that we haven't even addressed yet.
But
It'll all come back with the study.
they'll all come back with the study, Diane.
Right. I'm agreeing that this is a good addition.
Okay.
I just want it to be more comprehensive than just the amount of the landing fees.
Do you want to still second that?
I do,
Thank you.
if we're just a little more specific that all aspects of the landing fees will be decided at a later date.
Correct.
Okay,
Counselor Popkin.
and I'm in agreement.
Thank you, Mary Peck. I appreciate the spirit of where you're going with this, and I think I just wanted to make sure, one, I am clear, and two, the public's clear on what is being proposed here. My understanding of what was on the agenda tonight, independent of Councilmember Yarbrough's previous motion that we passed, was that there was an ordinance authorizing the use of landing fees, not setting any rates. I think that the intent of, and I don't want to fully speak for Councilmember Yarbrough here, but based on what she shared and why I supported the previous motion, was to support a rates and charges study to inform that very discussion of whether council would authorize landing fees with more concrete information based on that. So my suggestion here, and the reason why I will be voting no against your current motion, is because there are members of the public who have been who would like to share input tonight on the authorization still, which is still not authorized from my understanding. And then regardless of council's decision tonight, the next council will have the opportunity to take up how they want to proceed from there. So I think it would actually behoove us and the next council to actually hear from the public tonight during that public hearing piece for second reading.
You're right. And we do not vote on the second reading until after the public hearing. So during the.
Correct.
So
the
they
public
will-
hearing would happen, then we,
Then we vote on it.
yes, I understand that. My understanding of what you were just proposing was that we actually suspend that whole agenda item because of Councilmember Yarbrough's idea.
No, it is not what I'm saying. The methodology is part of what we are going to be looking at in the second reading. The methodology of, if you get to vote yea or nay on this.
Right, I just want to make sure I know what I'm voting on. And so you're suggesting we suspend, I guess I want to know, what are we suspending right now with your
The
motion?
decision to place or decide on the amount of a landing fee tonight until we get the study back. Is there anyone else on this council that doesn't understand that? Counselor Yarbrough? Can you?
Mayor Pro Tem was first.
Okay.
Thank you, and I have a clarifying question. So, with us moving and passing to do a study on the rates and bring in, the other details, doesn't that address the actual suspension that you are trying to address in your motion? Because you're looking to suspend the amount, but we're already holding off on setting any amount tonight through the motion that Councilmember Yarborough made. Am I understanding this correctly?
Let's see what Counselor Yarborough has to say.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm actually going to our legal because I want to know do you understand what's going on right now?
Mayor,
And
can I
what
say-
we need to change or what we need to add or something, you know.
It may
I
take
think we
both of
can
us.
tag team.
Yeah, we're
Earl,
gonna
do you want
ta-
to
we're
take the
gonna-
first shot?
Yeah, so the way I understand it is the motion that Councilmember Yarborough made is that there will be no direction on the methodology or the
Right.
information or any rate until after we do the rates and charges study, which what that tells me operationally is the presentation that Sandy was going to present had all of these options. What you're saying is, no, we don't want to talk about the options tonight. And so that presentation will not be brought back to you all until we do the rates and charges study. So, yes, I think we understand it as the only thing you will be voting on tonight is whether to pass the ordinance that says, yes, we will create landing fees, but there's nothing that you're creating in terms of a value, because the rates and charges study will then be brought back to the next council. Is that correct?
So my reservations with that, I get it, I understand. I'm glad that you all understand that. My reservations with it is after we do the rates and charges study, that study will also provide other revenues
Correct.
that we can also utilize other than landing fees. So I just want to make sure that we understand that, you know, we're not just going to the study may say landing fees is not economically effective. It may be leases on, you know, I don't know what that study may come up with. So I want to make sure that we're just not locked in just on landing fees, because the results of the study will determine what other opportunities of revenue that we can apply for the airport. So I want to make sure that that's clear. You know, that's why I said that. I think it makes sense to have the study, and if that study come back and say, you know, you only gonna make $2,000 a year on landing fees, but if you do this A, B, C, D, then you're gonna make $100,000. Then bye-bye landing fees, I think, or I won't be here on council, it'll be bye-bye Shakita, but.
Joan, too?
So I know that the mayor is passionate about making sure that we have a revenue coming in that is in place, that no matter what, there's a revenue coming in for the airport to support the airport. I know that's her passion. It's all of our passion. We want the airport to be sustainable. But at the same time, I also want to make sure that the reason why I made this motion is because I don't want staff to be doing 2 or 3 things or doing the same thing over and over again. So after the study, we can look at the results and then see, and the study will tell us what's the best avenue for us, and the new council can decide on what to do. Now, I don't know what that looks like with this ordinance today with the landing fees, so I want to make sure that we are clear what this actually means.
So, Eugene, you're gonna have to help me. Eugene's point on the two-step process. So to the point on the direction and looking at rates and charges, that's going to look at a world like this, of which landing fees are a piece of the world we're going to look at. Because it's a two-step process, this ordinance says, yes, we're going to look at it, but the city council has to approve the rates and charges in terms of whether or not there's actually a dollar amount of the landing fees. So the rates and charges study can come back and give you all of these ideas, of which the sitting council at the time could say, we want to do, and I'm not throwing anything out, but may want to do lease rates or something else, and we don't want to do landing fees. So then basically you have an ordinance that says, yes, we can do landing fees, but the actual rates and charges won't have a landing fee that's operationalized. Did I get that?
Agreed. I think to say it another way, the ordinance tonight creates the category of landing fees without setting an amount. Setting the amount is a separate second step, which, if this council direction holds, won't occur till after the rates and charges study.
And to be clear, the amount could be zero from the next council.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I once again, I withdraw the motion. Counselor Christ.
I was just going to comment along with Councilor Yarborough that it's possible that we may pivot when we get the rates and study back, because some of the initial information we received from Assistant City Manager Sandy Cedar is that landing fees are probably most useful when you have a lot of jets landing and higher weight classes for planes. It's just the charts that I would. Presentation that she has ready for tonight. So I agree that it's quite possible that we'll pivot away from that and find some other methodology that's more effective for our type of airport at this time. So we've already passed Councilor Yarborough's initiative, and if that means that we have to continue with the public hearing
Yes.
to establish landing fees, then then perhaps the withdrawal is accurate, but I'm wondering if we pass the landing fee ordinance, if that almost doesn't mean that we have to have one.
No.
But what I'm hearing from the city manager is that the amount that we could come up with is zero. Is that correct? And would city attorney say that we have to continue with the second reading and public hearing?
Mayor and council, whether to proceed with the ordinance, I think is a council decision,
Correct.
Yes.
separate from the motions that are going on.
So can I get a, just a hand vote or a head nod to proceed with the second reading?
Well, do we have to? It's already on our agenda.
It's on our agenda. We're not,
And we are
We're not withdrawing.
separating, or?
I think, to be clear, what I'm saying is that if council passes this ordinance, what it says is you're creating a class of fee, which is a landing fee. And I want to be very clear on this one. What it does not say is that council has to implement a landing fee.
correct.
The council at the time can choose not to implement a landing fee. This is just creating a class of a fee.
So I say we stick with the agenda and have the second ordinance. I am going to also close this discussion and move on to our agenda. So the next thing is the city manager's report.
Council, I actually do have a couple of items today. So late Friday afternoon over the weekend, and this is connected to Front Range Passenger Rail, the city council has previously taken a motion to, they have agreed to support Front Range Passenger Rail. There's a couple of things that's coming. One is the state is looking for letters of support from the city council in terms of Front Range Passenger Rail. You all don't need to take a position because as a body, you've already agreed to support it. We do have the letters that staff can work with you on signing if you agree to do that. The other thing connected to Front Range Passenger Rail is that and this is connected because RTD has a budget amendment coming before them that is requesting $500 million from the FISA account, which the FISA account is actually part of, if we remember from Lisa Kaufman's presentation, something that they're looking at to complete Front Range Passenger Rail. And so other jurisdictions are writing letters to RTD to encourage them not to approve the $500 million for buses out of the FISA account. So both of these are connected to your motion to support Front Range Passenger Rail. It just touches it in different ways. So I wanted to see if the council wanted us to draft a letter to RTD.
I move that we advise council to draft that letter to RTD. It's been seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Hidalgo Faring. Is there any discussion on that letter or on
Just to clarify, you said advise council to draft letter, advise staff?
staff to address the letter?
Thank you.
Seeing no discussion, let's vote. And that passes 6-1 with Councilor Christ opposing. Thank you. We do not have any special reports or presentations, so we're at first call, public invited to be heard. And Don, do we have a list? Yes. Oh, you got it. Thank you.
Mayor Peck, a point of personal privilege here just for a second. Just because I think before we get into the public invited to be heard, I wanted to just make sure that everyone was clear on what did or didn't happen.
I think that we have discussed it, and I have closed that. We're moving on.
Just knowing that we're proceeding with the current agenda, that there will be a
Yes.
public hearing for the second reading
Yes.
for the ordinance as planned.
Thank you.
That's all. Just wanted to clarify where we are. Thank you.
So the first person, remember that you have 3 minutes, and I would like your name and address. The first person is Audrey Dunn. Audrey? There she is.
Thank you. No, I can stand, thanks. I need to. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me tonight. I really don't have anything to say, just I want to say thank you to all of you for making Longmont such a great place to live. I'm leaving next week, next Tuesday. I'm leaving Colorado for a warmer climate because of my health and also get married. So I just want to say thank you to everyone for making Longmont such a great place to live. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Audrey, and good luck with your future endeavors. The next person is Matt Eldred.
Good evening, Council. Matt Eldred. 318 Carter Lane is my address, and I'm here tonight to thank those who will be leaving. Thank you for your service, Aaron and Shakita and Joan. This is hard work, and you all have done it gracefully, even in difficult times, which I feel like we just had.
Yes,
And so thank you for your service and for having difficult conversations. We try to teach kids at 3 years old that difficult conversations are okay, and it's okay to talk about and disagree and have differences and still be able to come out productive. So thank you for your service. Also, just want to let you know that you all approved some funds out of contingency funds for CCAP. Eligible families who are currently on a wait list. I wanted to report to you that we've been able to use those funds for 19 children so far to date. Since the couple of months that we've had those funds, we'll continue to use those into the new year. There is no end in sight of the CCAP freeze. That's the assistance program for childcare for families. And so the city of Longmont, stepping forward, has also leveraged others to do the same. So we have private foundations and other individuals who are also now setting up funds to help other programs who serve children who are eligible for the financial assistance program of CCAP but can't access it. So thank you for your vision to be able to do that. And then finally, I just wanted to let you all know you did receive a letter this last week for some funding to hopefully help to be able to make some decisions. You just talked about doing a study of what we should do for fees for airport landing fees. We're doing studies and polling right now. The polling is out for an early childhood initiative that we were hoping to get data for you to present to you in 2026 on the viability of a funding initiative for early childhood services, which would address the CCAP funding shortfalls that you've already helped fund this year. So we're asking for your help with that, if you can be of assistance of that in the future, for future councils to help with the funding of data, cost modeling, and some polling to be able to see what is the most viable option. Are there viable options locally? We know that there were 9 initiatives run in Colorado. 7 of them passed throughout our state, throughout different counties and cities throughout the state for early childhood. So we want to have that same opportunity in Longmont and in Boulder County. So thank you for your opportunity and your consideration for that. And again, thank you for your service.
Thank you, Matt. Lance Whitaker?
Evening, Mayor and Council. My name's Lance Whitaker, 1750 Collier Street, Longmont, Colorado. I've been a resident for quite a while, as you all know. I'd like to make a couple statements, actually. Today is National Princess Day, today's Mickey Mouse's birthday, and National Visage Schwitz soup, which is like some potato soup, Italian potato cold soup. I know, I don't like cold soup either. I'd like to also make a statement about fruit trees in parks. You all know about that. The Longmont skate parks are in serious need of some maintenance, and they're also complaining about being in the sun too much. So if we could get some maintenance out on the skate parks here in Longmont and some shade. They're really crying for some shade out there because they're just sitting in the sun all day on that concrete and it gets really hot. So if we could provide them some shade at some of those skate parks, it'd be really nice. Other than that, thank you for your service, and hope to see you out there in the city, and have a good day. And you all have a good day.
Thank you, Lance.
Bye.
Matt McAfee?
City Council members, thank you so much for your time. I came tonight to share 2 brief comments. Oh, my address is 1285 South Fordham here in Longmont. Came tonight to share 2 brief comments. First, I want to give a sincere thank you to you, Mayor Peck, for your leadership as mayor of Longmont. We appreciate your leadership and wish you the best as you transition into whatever is next for you in the future. Thank you. And second, I want to give a personal congratulations to Mayor Pro Tem Hidalgo Faring. On behalf of Victory Church here in Longmont, we pray that your leadership is marked by health and wisdom. We are praying for you. Thank you. We started Victory Church in March of 2024 with 30 people. Have grown to seeing over 100 on any given Sunday. Over the last year, we've been grateful to sponsor various city events, such as National Night Out, where we're the only faith community represented at that event. As we grow in resources and people, we look forward to investing more of those resources into our city. Mayor Pro Tem, we look forward to serving our city with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Strider?
Thank you, Mayor Peck. Strider Benston, 951 17th Avenue. I'm not going to talk about Epstein except one thing. We've known about this for decades, ever since Alec Acosta was rewarded for making that sweetheart deal with Epstein, and he became Secretary of Labor as a result of that sweetheart deal. That was decades ago in one of the Bush regimes. And then just today, maybe they're actually going to look into what actually happened after all these decades. But anyway, several things. We had a I think well-conducted election here and nationwide, and I congratulate the people who are in the new office, and thank you guys who have been here a while. I appreciate greatly. I think Longmont has been very well run. I do worry that I hope we still have elections, because the people in power just 2 weeks ago, they brought to the United States Supreme Court to destroy the last vestiges of the Voting Rights Act, which I have put my entire life into, that we finally created a democratic republic in 1965. And like Benjamin Franklin was responded when at the end of the convention in 1787, he was asked, what kind of a government do we have? And he said, a republic if we can keep it. It very much matters. And I am really thrilled and encouraged by the people of Longmont at most every level. The No Kings Day several weeks ago, it was hard to count with people moving so fast, but we had 5,000 to 8,000 people who came out here in Longmont. And I'm not a fanatic about the extremities of democracy and what can be done, but it's the core basic principle of our surviving as a society. And Democratic Republic, thank you.
Thank you, Strider. Seeing no one else on the end, I'm going to close first call public invited to be heard, and we're going to move on to our consent agenda. Don, would you mind reading the consent agenda into the record?
I will, Mayor. There are no ordinances on this agenda, so there are no second reading and public hearing dates to announce. So 9A is Resolution 2025-64, a resolution of the Longmont City Council approving the First Amendment to the intergovernmental agreement between the city and Regional Transportation District for funding to the city's microtransit pilot program. 9B is Resolution 2025-65, a resolution of the Longmont City Council approving the intergovernmental agreement between the City of Longmont and Regional Transportation District for EcoPass contract. 9C is Resolution 2025-66, a resolution of the Longmont City Council approving the intergovernmental agreement between the City of Longmont and the City of Fort Collins for flex bus services. 9D is Resolution 2025-67, a resolution of the Longmont City Council authorizing the Second Amendment to the conservation easement for the Wood Meadows NCNUPUD Outlot B property in Boulder County, Colorado. 9E is Resolution 2025-68, a resolution of the Longmont City Council conditionally approving a riparian setback variance for the residences at Alta Vita. 9F is Resolution 2025-69, a resolution of the Longmont City Council approving the intergovernmental agreement between the city and the Colorado Department of Transportation for grant funding for click-it or ticket seatbelt enforcement. 9G is Resolution 2025-70, a resolution of the Longmont City Council approving the intergovernmental agreement between the city and the Colorado Department of Transportation for grant funding for high-visibility impaired driving enforcement. 9H is Resolution 2025-71, a resolution of the Longmont City Council approving the agreement for extraterritorial sewer service between Lifebridge Church. 9I is Resolution 2025-72, a resolution of the Longmont City Council approving the agreement between the City of Longmont and Bigelow Investments LP for the purchase of real property for open space purposes. 9J is Resolution 2025-73, a resolution of the Longmont City Council approving the agreement between the City of Longmont and Andrea Pierce Bigelow Living Trust for the purchase of real property for open space purposes. 9K is Resolution 2025-74, a resolution of the Longmont City Council approving the grant of a deed of conservation easement in gross from the City of Longmont to Boulder County on the Bigelow property. 9L is approved for capital improvement program amendments.
Thank you very much. I'm going to pull 9E. Counselor Popkin.
Thank you, Mayor Peck. I also would like to pull A, C, J, and K.
Okay. Is there anyone else? Seeing no one, let's move on.
Mayor?
Yeah,
Mayor?
oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand. I apologize.
I would also like to pull, well, C and D, and I think C was already mentioned.
Yeah, C is pulled.
Okay, thank you, Counselor. We're now moving on to ordinances on. Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't vote. Is someone going to pass the consent agenda minus B, A, C, and D?
So moved.
All right. It's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Hidalgo Faring, seconded by Councilor Yarbrough. Any discussion? Seeing none, let's vote.
Mayor, I just want to make sure I got those right. I have A, C, D, E,
A, C, D, J.
A, C, D, E, J, and K.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
And that passes unanimously. Let's move on to ordinances on second reading and public hearing. The first one is a bill for an ordinance making certain legislative findings and approving the second amended and restated urban renewal plan for the Twin Peaks Mall Urban Renewal Project. Is there any discussion of? Pardon me, what did you say?
I'm sorry, are we going to have a presentation on this?
I didn't see a presentation on this. Okay. So is there any discussion from counselors? No?
Council has any questions, we'll be happy to answer.
Okay. Counselor Popkin.
Thank you, Mayor Peck. I did have just a couple clarifying questions based on questions I've gotten from the public in the last week that before we get into the public hearing, I just wanted to make clear here. And I see Laura is joining us. Thank you. So there's been a couple different numbers thrown out, and I guess could you clarify for all of us here watching and in general, the making certain legislative findings and approving the Second Amendment and restated urban renewal plan, what does that do ultimately when we pass that plan?
So both plans are existing and we are amending the plans. And in both cases, we are starting TIF clocks on each plan. So the amendment allows the collection of the TIF for these specific areas within each plan.
Gotcha. And so the TIF clock that you're referring to, or the tax increment financing clock that we're starting, is specific to particular projects within these plans, correct?
That is correct.
And so the one for this plan for the Twin Peaks Mall is the old Walmart site redevelopment, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And there were multiple numbers thrown out in the public before in writing, and so the numbers of units that are being approved with this amendment, can you just clarify it? Because I've seen 265, I've seen 500, I've seen 530, I've seen something else probably too. So what's the project that we're looking at here in terms of numbers?
And the amendment actually does not, the amendment is not actually linked to the specific project details. That redevelopment agreement was approved by the LURA board. That agreement has already been finalized, if that answers your question.
It partly does. And so so that the LURA board is the Longmont Urban Renewal Authority. The city council is voting to expand the plan to basically start that tax increment financing clock to finance this investment there.
Correct.
And so I just wanted to, okay, that is very helpful. I wanted to make sure that was clear to people where we are in the process there. It's a little bit different from a normal development proposal in both substantive ways and procedural ways. And
That
so I
is
just wanted to
correct.
make sure that was clear to folks.
Oh, 256 units.
256. Thank you. Okay, that's what I just wanted to clarify before we get to the public hearing. Thank you.
Okay, seeing no one else in the queue, I'm going to open the public hearing on 2025-69. Is there anyone in the public that would like to talk to this issue? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing on 2025-69 and ask for a motion. I will move 2025-69. It's been seconded by Councilor Popkin. Let's vote. We already had the discussion. It was before the public hearing. You spoken.
There's discussion on the motion.
Go ahead, Councilor Popkin.
Thank you. I wasn't sure if other council members wanted to speak as well, but I would, I guess I wanted to just make a point because I've heard multiple questions from the public on one of the projects that's kind of part of this urban renewal area. And just wanted to clarify a couple pieces. One, I think this is a really good example of responsible growth that the city is taking on here. I know some people might want to see the project look a little bit different, but this is cleaning up an area, the old Walmart site that we have in our community. Oh, yeah, right. This is addressing a very problematic part of the north end of the Twin Peaks Mall, that Village at the Peaks Mall area, just along Nelson and Hover, and it's going to address multiple public safety and lack of maintenance issues, and create something that's going to address that and build something that's going to support all of the economic development and retail in that area while bringing more housing to our community. The $15 million investment that we're making is not a tax, right? It's not a tax credit here. It's not taxpayer money that's going to subsidize this project. It's very much revenue generated from the project investment itself that is being reinvested into this to make this deal really possible. And this deal, it's important for this is because we've had 15 years where this site has effectively sat vacant or demolished, the old Walmart demolished. So it's, at this point, we've kind of seen through unprecedentedly low interest rates, as well as many opportunities for someone to develop something that's in a fairly prime spot in our community, that this is actually quite a necessary incentive. This $15 million will leverage at least $48 million in just the next 25 years alone. So it's a really sound investment move. And so I just wanted to make that all perfectly clear. And the last thing I just wanted to say is I really appreciate the staff's negotiation on this and supporting the Longmont Urban Renewal Authority on this, particularly negotiating on top of the money I just said, an additional 50% fee in lieu payment for our affordable housing policy that goes to the city to help invest in future affordable housing projects. So I just wanted to say thank you to our staff for the negotiation work and just let people know of all of those things that we've been working on to advance this site. Thank you.
Thank you. So this motion passed. Thank you for that. And I need to say that we do not vote. We discussed this before, on second reading, before public invited to be heard.
Mayor, I'm sorry, we didn't have a complete vote. I'm still missing a vote on that one. So I just reopened it so everybody could vote. Let me close that again. There you go.
It shows that everybody, that it carried.
No, Popkin was missing.
Yeah, Councilmember Popkin hadn't voted, so, yeah. It still carried.
We're a little confused tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Hang on. So the second one is 2025-70. This is a bill for an ordinance making certain legislative findings and approving the first amended and restated urban renewal plan for the Southeast Longmont Urban Renewal Project. Is there any discussion on council? Now is the time to discuss it. We will not discuss it after the motion is seconded.
Mayor,
Yes. There you are, Diane. The disembodied person that is floating above our heads.
the floating head.
Um,
So I have some questions about 2025-70.
Great, go ahead.
Yeah, Laura, I'm wondering about the plan for this. It mentions that public facilities and venues are an option for development, but I don't see that that is specifically mentioned in the plan. But I want to encourage that we strongly consider having public facilities and venues part of the sugar mill development. For one, there's a need for a performing arts space and a large event area in Longmont. And to create a destination and bring business to Longmont. And during our LEDP, all stakeholders meeting, there were an analyst there who mentioned that 60% of the Loveland revenue comes from the Embassy Suites and the convention center there. So I just want to know from Laura that some type of venue would be included in the sugar mill development. And I don't think we've fully decided what will go there yet. Is Laura still in the
Yeah.
building?
I can jump in on this one. So, I think this is for the Southeast Urban Renewal Area generally, of which all of those options are available to the Urban Renewal Authority and the City Council as we look to the future, but that'll be conversations that will need to occur down the road. So yes, it can be included, but there is policy direction that'll have to occur down the road as we look at these projects.
Thank you, City Manager. I agree, and then I saw as one of the attachments a picture of the sugar mill. And I just wanted to make sure that we have this on our radar, because you and I were both in that LDP meeting, and it was startling when they said 60% of the revenue comes from that convention center. Would you agree?
You know, I can't remember that conversation, but I do remember them talking about the number of people that utilize it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that's my portion of discussion on this. Is there anyone else in the city council that wants to talk about this? I will yield my time.
We're not yielding or reserving time.
Right. I'm
So-
just saying, I can't see if any other microphones are on, so just.
And I will be glad to call on them if their microphone is on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Councilor Popkin.
Thank you, Mayor Peck. Laura, just a similar thing because this is another kind of dense title of packet material. So when we're looking at this plan amendment, we're specifically looking at a particular subset of this urban renewal area for this. Is that correct? And so that's the 3rd and Martin Street project, or the kind of new complex that was just built east of the cannery across Martin Street there, correct?
That is correct. So what the plan is establishing is the collection of TIF within the boundaries of that new amendment. So all we're doing with this amendment is creating that TIF clock. And then this one is different in that we will then be able to allocate those TIF amounts to benefit the plan.
Right, and so-
the Southeast Longmont.
Right, and so one of the benefits of this, when we're starting a TIF clock, we're not talking about a watch on my wrist. We're talking about a 25-year time period, right, where the funding that is raised from this, the tax increment financing that is captured from this, can then be used to support redevelopment in other parts of this urban renewal area, around the sugar mill area, around kind of the apartment complex that was being built here, or has been built here, particularly on public infrastructure improvements. That's what we're talking about, right?
That is absolutely correct.
Excellent. Well, good. Seeing no other microphones,
I'm sorry. Are you going to?
I was going to motion to approve.
Okay.
Yes.
We need a public hearing, Mayor.
Yes.
We do. Excuse me. Thank you.
And I believe there was somebody signed up on this one. Yes, yeah.
So we are now ready to, seeing no one else in council that wants to speak on this, I will open the public hearing on 2025-70. We do have someone that has signed up for it. His name is Bobby Dempsey.
Thank you for your time. It's the first time I've ever come to one of these meetings, and
Are you having fun?
oh yeah. I live on 128 East Rogers Road. It's right behind the big project at Martin Street Apartments that took our view away from us. We used to be able to see all the way down to Lookout Mountain, the Flatirons in Boulder. We used to have the best view at Longmont. Now we're looking at a 4-story apartment building. I don't know what the plans are. I understand urban development and all that. We have 12 properties along that strip. We call that Park Place, as referring to the Monopoly Board. We feel that all the people that are living on that row right there are being kicked out for this project when all we're going to get is Baltic Avenue prices. So I don't think it's fair to us that all this is going on without any say or how much we're going to get for our properties when you take them over. We own the property. We've owned the property for years. Now, all of a sudden, we're being kicked out for this project. And I'm pretty sure everybody along that row feels the same way. To relocate my business is going to cost me a ton. I don't think anybody's going to give us the amount of money that we deserve for our property. We landed on Park Place a long time ago, and now everybody wants it for their profit. When all we're doing is being smashed by big developers to come in and make the money off of our property. I figured that they're probably going to put 16 and a half apartments per lot along there, which is going to generate a lot of money, probably about $40,000 a month per property. And to give us the going rate for people's property around it is not fair to us. We have Park Place apartments or Park Place property, not these big developers. I feel that we should have the money that we deserve so we could relocate to other areas. And I just don't understand why we're gonna get the money at low bottom dollar when there's gonna be so much profit made on our properties.
Thank you, Mr. Dempsey.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Is there anyone else in the chamber that would like to speak on this ordinance or this bill? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion on 2025-70. It's been moved by Councilor Pumpkin. Can I have a second? Second. It's been seconded by Councilor McCoy. Let's vote. And that passes unanimously. Thank you. The next one is 2025-72. This is a bill for an ordinance to enact by reference the amended City of Longmont Public Improvement Design Standards and Construction Specifications, Section 100, Section 700, and appendices. Is there any discussion on 2025-72 from council? Seeing no one, I will open up the public hearing for 2025-72. I see no one signed up, so if there's anyone in the chamber that would like to speak. Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion.
I move ordinance 2025-72.
Thank you. It's been seconded by Councilor McCoy, and motion was made by Councilor Crest. Let's vote. And that carries unanimously. The next one is a bill for an ordinance. It's 2025-73. It's a bill for an ordinance prohibiting the installation and use of gray water treatment works within the city of Longmont pursuant to House Bill 24-1362. Is there any discussion from councilors on this bill? Seeing none, I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone in the chamber that would like to speak to 2025-73? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion.
I move ordinance 2025-73.
It's been moved by Councilor Chris, seconded by Councilor McCoy. Let's vote. And that passes unanimously.
Mayor, I
Yes.
apologize for interrupting.
Sure.
We have a tech issue we need to troubleshoot briefly. Wonder if you would mind taking a quick break?
I wouldn't mind that at all. And while we're deciding, Councilor McCoy has a short infomercial.
You gotta give me a quick, okay, so, the week of, December, 1st through the 5th, at the, Longmont Callahan House, the, Hover Manor, and at the, Sandstone Ranch, they are having, the 5th and 6th, house tours for Habitat for Humanity, the St. Vrain Habitat for Humanity. And so I encourage people to go to the St. Vrain Habitat for Humanity and buy your tickets so that you can go through those houses that have been all dolled up for the holiday season. So it's for a good cause, and want to encourage people to partake. Thank you. No Ginsu knives here or anything like that, okay? All right, thank you.
Are we good?
5-minute break.
Okay, 5-minute break. I talked too soon. The IT issue is not fixed, so continue to be on a short break. Hopefully short.
All right, so the way we're gonna have to fix this is when Councilmember Christ is talking, we have to make sure that no one else comes in while she's talking.
Okay.
Because they have to turn the gain all the way up when she's talking. But if people start talking over her, then it blows it out.
Okay.
Oh, so we can't have our mics on?
No, I mean, we just can't talk into it.
And that's what I was,
She's
yeah,
talking, we have to make sure we're all
silent.
silent.
Yes, I get a signature. Was that the one that I signed in that little box? Or no? That was for paychecks. Thank you. Oh, yes. Thank you for that.
So Harold, because I've been having such a hard time finding a guitar player, invested like $400.
My principal forgot to show up to my formal observation.
So I can do a lot of different things with the bass. Yeah.
It's been a day.
Yeah, so it's been off. And my husband's boss forgot to pay them. So they didn't get paid yesterday.
Yeah,
So it's.
it'll be interesting.
Okay.
Councilor Yarbrough? Oh, okay, I didn't see you, sorry.
You blended in with the glass.
You did blend in a bit. Yes, please.
Mayor, Council, is we're coming back on. So we need to make sure that when Councilmember Christ is talking, that we're not talking, because when there's overlap, it's blowing out on their end because they're having to turn it up so that everyone can hear her on the stream. So we just need to make sure when she's talking that no one else engages.
Are you talking specifically about those that have the microphone or everybody in the chamber?
I think it's with the microphone. We
Okay,
just need to
thank
make
you.
sure, yeah.
Okay. All right, we are now at a bill for an ordinance establishing landing fees at the Vance Brand Municipal Airport. This is 2025-74. Are there any questions or discussion from councilors? Councilor Member Tim Hidalgo-Fearing.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So I just have a quick question, and it might be for our city attorney. A no vote, or if this does not pass, does then the motion that Councilmember Yarborough, is that dead as well? Go ahead.
Mayor and Council, Eugene May, City Attorney. I think Council Member Yarborough's motion is independent of what happens on the ordinance.
Regardless, okay, so then if it, for some reason it doesn't pass, then we can still move forward with a rate looking at a study. And then what if the study finds that landing fees, it will be beneficial to take that route? And I don't have the answer to that, so no.
If,
Does that complicate the issue by a no vote here?
if the next council gives direction to bring back a new
Okay,
landing
so we
fee
would still
ordinance,
be able to.
yeah, under Robert's rules, and I was reading that
Yeah, yeah,
earlier
yeah.
today, it's a new session. So what
So-
happens with a current council, the end is when council adjourns sine die on the organizational meeting. And then once the new council members are sworn in, it's a new session.
Got it.
And there's no restrictions on what motion or directions you can give at that time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no one else on council, I'll open up the public hearing on 2025-74. And we have several people who signed up, so I will just go down the list. Joseph Friedman is the first person.
Oh, and turn on the mic. Turn on the mic.
Good evening, Joe Friedman, 5723 Four Leaf Drive, Longmont. In the interest of Vance Brand Airport, I would urge City Council to move ahead and vote for the ordinance to implement landing fees with the details that would come later. I speak as a supporter of the sustainability of the airport and general aviation. The airport requires a source of revenue, significant revenue, to address its financial position of perennial debt. A landing fee policy is the most fair, equitable, and accountable method, and that is based on a straightforward fee-for-service model. What amounts to a few dollars per landing operation, the airport can generate between $300,000 and $500,000 annually, depending on the fee structure, based on the data in your packet on page 669. No other revenue plans in themselves, such as fuel sale taxes, hangar sales, or grants, can generate such a dependable income source with no restrictions or strings attached. An argument has been made that landing fees will deter business and activity at the airport. Experience at other airports, as noticed in the packet on page 671, suggests decreased activity is unlikely. Fort Collins Loveland implemented landing fees and a variety of other user fees in June, and the airport is as active as ever, and businesses and flight schools are doing quite well. We have a very good airport. It may lack, at this time, some of the bells and whistles of some of the other GA airports, but we have a long and directionally well-oriented runway in the highly desirable geographic area of Longmont. I believe landing fees will actually increase business and activity as money is then freed up to make capital improvements. And please note, I am a supporter of general aviation and a healthy Vance Brand Airport. I was raised with aviation. My dad, a World War II aviation decorated hero, was also a lifelong private pilot. He was IFR and commercial rating certified. I flew all over the continent with my dad in his twin Comanche turboprop plane. My younger cousin was a pilot at age 19. I say this because I wish to go on record that I advocate for support of general aviation activities at Vance Brand. Yet from the business aspect, significant revenue is required, and no other method is as efficient and transparent with no strings or restrictions attached as landing fees. And please remember, Vance Brand is owned by the city of Longmont, essentially the people of Longmont, and prudent business decisions are in the control of city council. Going forward, please do not give up that right of control to any consulting board, some new outside authority, the FAA, or private enterprise. And I do thank you for listening, and thank you everyone for your service.
Thank you, Joe. Malcolm Dean. Is Malcolm Dean still here? Thank you. Then we are looking at Mr. Friedman. Is this Ernie? Oh, I'm sorry, Emmy.
Good evening, Mayor, PAC and City Council members. Emmy Friedman, 5723 Ford Leaf. I continue to support landing fees for Vance Brand Airport. Landing fees will promote sustainability of our airport. A fee structure must be equitable and apply to all aircraft, transient and home-based. Let's think about it. A fee-for-service model is utilized at enterprise activities such as Longmont Recreational Centers and the Sunset Golf Course. A weekday cost is $33 for 18 holes and $19 for 9 holes. A landing fee would be a fraction of that cost. There has been some concern about the cost for young pilots in training. Such concern can be addressed by creating a fund to offset their costs that they can tap into. I will continue to voice support for landing fees, even at the cost of my home and neighborhood being targeted by low altitude flyover activity, as it was on Monday, November 3rd, for multiple afternoon hours, and Wednesday, November 12th, most of the day. Thank you for your time and your service.
Thank you, Emmy. Dan Leftwich. Dan Leftwich.
Mayor and Council, Dan Leftwich, 775 West Grange Court in Longmont. First, Mayor, thank you for everything you've done for the city. I really appreciate it. Hope to interact with you in the future. Facts are stubborn things. Tonight, I'm sure we're going to hear a lot of smoke and fog and wishful thinking, but facts tend to remain after all that smoke and fog clears. And the facts are the airport is in a deep financial hole. In part, that's because the airport manager, the airport advisory board, they have steadfastly refused to even consider landing fees. Now, there's all kinds of reasons for that, but the facts remain. The airport manager and the city manager in June told you what the airport budget deficit is, but that didn't even include capital improvement projects. Now we know it's much larger. So that deficit has to be filled, right? So how are you going to, where's the revenues going to come from? They have to come from user fees. This is an enterprise fund. It's an exception to Tabor, allows you to keep the revenues off of the general budget and Tabor revenue limits. So it has to come from user fees. The most intense users of this airport are flight schools. The most intense users of this airport are airplane landings. So that's where the fees, I think, are going to generate the most money. Plus, we've given you all kinds of information over the last 6-7 months about more than 100 airports around the country have landing fee proposals, policies. We've given you the websites. You have all that information. Now, you can do a rates and charges study, but it's still going to be a pro forma study. It's not going to be actual results because it's somewhat demand dependent. Are flight schools going to stop flying here? We don't know, right? There's other examples. But what I suggest you do is you take the best practices from airports similar in nature, similar geographically around the country, pick a fee that fits in the middle and give it a trial, because that's where you're going to get actual results, okay? And then you adjust, and then you adapt, all right? The first rule when you're in a hole over your head, stop digging, okay? Stop listening to the people who have told you landing fees are going to be the end of aviation as we know it, okay? They're not. So you have a practical solution. I think you're going to find that landing fees are the key where the most money is, like 100 airports around the country have found. I'm assuming that they also considered other fees. So I urge you to adopt a landing fee ordinance.
Thank you, Dan. Dan Barry?
Thank you, Mayor, City Council members. I'm Dan Barry, 930 Champion Circle. I've leased a hangar at the airport for over 28 years now. I've heard a lot about money and landing fees. I've heard nothing about safety. I care most about safety. I ask you, when you do this study, to consider the safety aspects of doing landing fees. The mere threat of abusing and misusing the ADS-B system to collect landing fees at our airport has already started an unwarranted safety issue. I fly to this airport weekly, and I can tell you that the privatization of we can encrypt our tail numbers on our airplanes so that the creepers and the people that don't like airplanes, they can't track me anymore. That also doesn't allow me to track other airplanes in the air. For instance, today, I was working my way into the pattern, and there was a tail number in front of me. Very easy to see. I could talk to him by tail number or her and work my way into the pattern. Otherwise, it shows up as a VFR airplane. That increases my workload. It decreases my situational awareness. It's a safety issue to have this now hidden information from me. Not all systems do that, but a lot of them do. So if we're going to track by ADS-B, which is the plan, I think the next step would be to use cameras. I've already seen a lot of airplanes landing longer. This is just the mere threat, the interpretation that we have landing fees already. This is starting today. Airplanes are landing longer on the runway. The runway behind us is useless. It causes more, somebody mentioned overflying, their houses gets bombarded by low-flying aircraft. Well, there's one of the payoffs. You get low-flying aircraft because they're landing longer down the runway. We have 2 instrument approaches at our airport, and we can do more missed approaches and not even land, use the airspace, create the noise, and the departure routes for both of those instrument approaches go over the center of town. They both go to the northeast and creates more noise. I just ask you to consider your decision carefully and understand the consequences of landing fees. It's not just money. It causes other impacts to the airport. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Kate Connor.
Kate Connor, 2727 Nelson. I would like to present you with data on the airports that are implementing landing fees. To get this data, I pulled Vector's client list. They're the major player in this game. They have a lion's share of these landing fee contracts. So it makes the most sense to look at their numbers, especially since it's public, as well as information from each individual airport's website. Vector has 108 clients. However, there are thousands of public airports in the United States. For the purpose of this, let's just look at the non-towered airports, because when you go to sell your house, you look at comps in the area. Comps to us are other small non-towered airports. There are 5,146 public non-towered airports in the U.S. However, only 40 of them are clients of Vector. That is 0.78%. Even assuming that Vector only represents a mere half, when it's likely much more than that, you're still looking at under 2% of airports are doing this. And that being said, Vector's been around for 20 years. They just celebrated their 20th birthday. We live in a capitalist society. If this was profitable, everyone would be doing it. It's not new tech. I'd also like to mention some of the airports that have put out landing fees just to roll them back. I would love to give you a hard number on this. It's a lot harder to find past structures versus current structures. But Safford Regional lasted 8 months with a blanket landing fee before having to go back and add in exemptions. Boyne Mountain did the exact same. They made it almost a year. Rio Vista Municipal removed all landing fees within a year of rolling them out. Van Nuys asked for a study. The study of the results came back so negative, they went ahead and paused them all together. Voting yes to open a door to landing fees tonight just really feels like putting the cart before the horse. I think the answers that we get from that study should determine how we move forward, and voting yes to impose the structure just to vote yes to impose the structure, that order doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. Thank you.
Shard Remick.
I'm going to pass.
Thank you. Joanne Burton.
Joanne Burton, 713 Snowberry. And first, I'm very sad that Mayor Peck, you're leaving. I feel like these last 8 years has been, you've done a wonderful job. Thank you, because you really show the care to the Longmont residents, and I appreciate all the service, but I'm going to miss you.
Thank you.
So what is the city council's financial responsibility to taxpayers in Longmont? The numbers tell the story. The airport operates at a deficit. It is not financially sustainable. A thoughtful, reasonable, and simple solution to address the airport's budget deficit is to charge landing fees. It doesn't cost the city anything, since collection of the landing fees is done by a third party. The Airport Advisory Board on November 13th was proposing a 120-day postponement on today's landing fee vote so that other financial solutions, including creating an airport authority, can be researched and considered. Great. Yes, let's explore other financial options. Bring it on. But it doesn't have to be an either-or solution. We can do both. Let's charge landing fees now and explore other ways to make the airport more financially sustainable. And let's stop burdening taxpayers. So I ask again, what is the City Council's financial responsibility to taxpayers in Longmont? Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. Kyle Foley.
Good evening, Mayor Peck and council members. My name is Kyle Foley. I live at 2331 Santa Fe Drive here in Longmont. I'm here tonight on behalf of Friends of Vance Brand. Recently, the Airport Advisory Board voted 6-1 to request a 120-day pause on the landing fee ordinance so an impartial feasibility study can be conducted. I want to briefly explain what this study is, why it's needed, and how it serves the city. First, the study is entirely impartial. It starts with no assumption about which model is best. It is not promoting an airport authority, and it is not criticizing the current system. Instead, it lays out all options in one place: staying with the city, forming a regional or independent authority, hybrid structures, and the funding approaches that were referenced earlier today. So you can see the benefits and drawbacks of each with equal clarity before making long-term decisions. Second, there's been some process confusion lately, and that's part of why a study like this matters. In the last few meetings, there's been uncertainty about the landing fee RFIs and who has actually seen them. Most of the public and board members haven't had access to these documents, yet one member stated on video that he had seen the RFIs. I'm not alleging wrongdoing, but it does highlight that information is moving inconsistently and the workflow isn't clear. That is exactly why having an objective, well-structured study is important. Before changing policy, we should make sure we have a governance model that supports consistent communication, clear roles, and full transparency. Third, City Council keeps full authority throughout this process. Nothing about allowing this study commits Longmont to anything. At the end of 120 days, you'll receive neutral findings, financial modeling, risks and benefits of every situation, and full documentation. Your role as a decision-making body stays exactly the same. And finally, a brief pause lets Longmont measure twice and cut once. The airport is a significant economic asset. Taking 120 days to base decisions on complete, unbiased information is a reasonable and responsible step, especially when both the Airport Advisory Board and the community are asking for it. Thank you for your time, and we respectfully ask that you allow this impartial feasibility study to move forward so that when council makes long-term decisions, it can do so with clarity, transparency, and the strongest factual, data-driven foundation possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Lily Ribeiro.
Lily Ribeiro, 1130 Windermere Circle. Good evening, council members. Good evening, Madam Mayor. Congrats, Councilmember Propkin, on your reelection. Congrats, Mayor Pro Tem. Congrats to the others of you moving on to better things. And Madam Mayor, I want to thank you for your service to the city, for your advocacy for the rail line and for affordable housing. But with all due respect, you do not come across as objective with regards to the airport. A few months ago, you told me the words, "We are not anti-airport." I'm finding that harder to believe. It has come out recently that you were involved in the baseless lawsuit that Citizens for Quiet Skies brought against a local business at the airport due to noise issues. The baseless lawsuit dragged on for 4 years, from 2013 to 2017, at great cost to the city. If you were not involved in that, then please set the record straight. Maybe I'm wrong. If you were involved, then you cannot claim objectivity, and you should have abstained from voting regarding landing fees. I have lived in Longmont for 14 years. My family's mobile home park has provided affordable housing to seniors in this city for over 50 years. Since the day I first started frequenting the airport, also about 14 years ago, I heard talk about how the city would not allow businesses to grow and thrive at the airport. Many people have come before the city wanting to build restaurants, hangars, and some of the individuals on city council at those times have been hostile to those ideas and have made the fees too exorbitant for profitability. Now, it very much appears that the same group of people who were filing baseless lawsuits a few years ago and costing the city a lot of money are trying to pass landing fees. That's how it looks from my perspective. This is about noise. The thing that really bothers me, though, about this is that you've heard testimony of dozens, maybe even hundreds of people who are local members of the community here who rely on this airport for their careers, for obtaining their dreams. The groups that are being hurt with this ordinance are three groups: the next generation, the youth of our city, small local businesses like the Flight Deck Grill and the City of Longmont, and the third group, the City of Longmont taxpayers, who are going to have to foot the bill possibly to the tune of hundreds of thousands due to the lawsuits that this will generate. The city's attorney's office is very aware of the costs involved with a Part 16. And because these landing fees are intended to reduce student traffic, our city will face a steep uphill battle trying to implement them. Thank you.
Thank you. Corey Cash.
Mayor Peck and council members, first, thank you for your time and all your commitment to city council. I know it's a chore and it goes through a lot of late nights, so thank you for your efforts. I am Corey Cash, 3005 Pheasant Run, actually Berthoud. I have several businesses in Longmont, have been a Longmont resident, have been a Longmont businessman for 30 years, and just support the airport as a terrific business opportunity. As an entrepreneur, I see a lot of opportunity with the airport. I do support having independence and profitability, but it needs to be given the opportunity to do so. Also to explore all the different revenue sources. I didn't see property tax revenue. If I'm correct, I might be wrong, but of the property taxes generated at the airport, 14% go to the general fund. That's not attributed to the airport as revenue. Also, we all know that there is economic development from the airport that is taxed. If that was taxed, there's several $100,000 annually that would be attributed to the airport for revenue. So I just ask that you look at all the different sources of revenue that are being generated by the airport, and that the airport is accredited for their proper dollars and cents. Safety is another option or issue. Night landings, for those that don't know, you have to have 3 full landings to a full stop in 90 days. So safety is an issue that needs to be addressed, and the airport is open to business for all people at no cost for doing their FAA required stop and goes. So appreciate it. That's all I have. Have a good night.
Thank you. JD Lights.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. J.D. Lights, 1632 Sherman Way, Longmont. And yes, thank you for your service, Mayor Peck, and wish you the best, Councilmember Yarborough and Rodriguez. And I didn't, busy today, didn't write a lot, but I wanted to say something. And the confusion at the start of the meeting kind of
Me too.
It gives me something to talk about, I think. I noticed that the dissenters last week really seemed to me that it descended on confusion also. Just what are we voting for is what I heard. And So it did show that we didn't give you a lot of information about landing fees, and particular in specifics. And I think the confusion today, I won't get into that, but still, that's lingering. What are we voting for? When are we going to get the information to actually know what we're voting for? We've got a new council coming in, not drastically changed, but somewhat changed. I'm urging you to just vote no on this. Get the information from various sources of revenue. And then I'd also like the real confusion to me is who's talking here. We did, as is mentioned, we did go through the the Quiet Skies lawsuit, all about the skydiving. A lot of money was spent. They found out how the FAA works, what they'll listen to, what they won't listen to. Now we have SOS putting out information. Firstly, their duty is about the Quiet Skies, the lead. Lead's a new thing that came up because they didn't get anywhere with noise. They started talking about lead. I'm not saying noise isn't, it's fine to object about that. I know it bothers people. Lead's not good either, but I'm just saying we're tying things together, and all of a sudden now SOS and the people that's been talking about noise are so concerned about our airport and just want it to thrive so much that we need to make it a thriving business. This just gives me a lot of confusion. It just, who's talking to what? When did everybody start wanting to make our airport so great and sustainable, except for people using the airport? So I just think we need to straighten all this out of who's talking, what can we do to keep the airport running, and know what we're talking about. Even in the packet you got today, you got 4 airports, none of them with 12,500 pounds.
Thank you. Amanda Love. Did I get that name right? Is there an Amanda Love here? I'll move on to the next person. Jenna Shearer.
Good evening. Thanks you guys for all being here and listening. Oh, I didn't know. I feel like
I was trying to get the timer going.
No, that wasn't for you.
I work in an environment with people who might prank me, so I was like, "Are you turning me off?" But no, honestly, I'm sorry. I'm the worst with names. A couple of people really made some points better that I did. That I was like, "Oh, I was going to say that too." Just speaking to the point of having a study done with actual facts. Like, I can stand here and tell you I live in the flight path. It doesn't really bother me. I love the airport. It's fun. I'm for the students, and all of that is anecdotal evidence. Like, it's nice to know you have community members who love the airport, who've grown up in the community, and I really love the idea of the study, because then that gives facts. There might be things I don't know that would come up in the study. I'm not an aviation expert. I'm not an accountant. And I feel like getting people who are aviation accountants, or I don't know what that is, but getting the actual experts in there and doing it and then giving the report, I am super in favor of that. And something I feel like too is like some people are presenting some stuff that to me sounds like, okay, and what are your resources? And I feel like it's really important, like when you're making a decision that's going to have actual impact on the community, you don't want to wind up having to step it back, and having the actual information will help eliminate that clutter from unreliable resources, which I realize you might be looking at me going, "Lady, you're an unreliable resource because you're presenting anecdotal evidence." And I don't mean to be, but at the same time, I just want to say how much I support that. And I really feel like voting on it tonight, like I'm the lady in the black who just stepped away. She pointed out that voting tonight it's not voting based on facts. Like tonight, really, a no vote would be the only one that would make sense, just because all the all the research hasn't been done yet. And I'm just thinking, like, as a person, like, if I'm going to make a major decision, I want all the facts, pros and cons, and the actual information. And I just feel like that will reinforce trust from the entire community, whichever side people are on. If you can say, these are the numbers, these are the facts, this is why, this is what we're deciding moving forward based on numbers. I think as a community, especially if you show those numbers come from reliable, accredited resources that actually know what they're doing with aviation, I just feel like that would carry a lot of weight, not only with me as a citizen, but I would imagine with other citizens. And I feel like that's, you know, having that community trust would probably be good for everybody. And I just want to say again, I really think having a clear financial picture that's looking at all of the complications here and things that people may or may not understand would be particularly useful. And thanks for your time.
Thank you. David Finnemore?
David Finn, oh,
No, you're good.
oh, there's feedback. David Finnemore, 720 Grant Avenue. I live in Louisville, but I have owned a hangar at the Longmont Airport since 1999. And before that, I based my airplane there for a few years before that. In addition, I've worked in Longmont for 24 years, plus a few years before that for Storage Tech. I am significantly invested in the city of Longmont. There's been a lot of discussion tonight about investment and all sorts of ways that different financing schemes can return more than they cost. And I'm not proposing any particular one, but I'm saying that we've talked about it. Like here you are as the city council, you're talking about ways that investing in the city can give amplified returns. But now we're just talking about basically a tax on some users like me. And to be clear, Fort Collins Loveland only charges a landing fee over 12,500 pounds. So any statistics based on that don't apply to what happens significantly at Longmont. But anyway, here's an example of, the fees, how much more effective the investment is than the fees. On my hangar, I pay $1,600, $1,800, I forgot to look before I come, for ground lease every year. We pay commercial rates for taxes, a lot of which go to the city. So, even though we don't run a business. So if I go flying once a week, and I get, let's say 50 landings, and I get charged $7 a landing, the city gets $350. So which is a better return? Having more hangars or charging people to land? Seems pretty clear to me that what we need is more investment in the airport. And anyway, the fees are troublesome for several reasons. Among them, Vector charges people for doing flybys they didn't actually touch down, and then you know where the complaints go? They go to the city. Vector doesn't handle the complaints. Vector says, complain to the city, get your money back from them. So you're going to have a big cost associated with that. What happens if I get down to the runway and I decide to go around? Do I get charged for that? Like, is a safety thing, like, there's a prairie dog on the runway, I want to go around. So, another $7, maybe I'll run over the prairie dog, I don't know. Anyway, I encourage you to follow up on Councilor Yorbrough's suggestion. Let's have some more facts before we move ahead. Because frankly, it didn't look very good. Like, what are we voting on? And so please do the financial study before you vote on this. Thank you.
Savannah Courier, or Cour?
Hi, I'm Savannah Collier. My address is 944 Glen Arbor Circle. Not only am I a flight student, I'm also an EMT and I work on an ambulance. So I'm going to take this from a slightly different perspective, and I apologize, I'm slightly winging this a little bit. I respond to patients of all walks of life. Yeah, so roughly statistically, for a private pilot, the increase would be about $1,200 to $1,500 to get your private pilot license if you were to implement these landing fees, which some may say that seems like pocket change. And if you're paying that much to be a pilot, that's seemingly not a lot of much more increase. But if that's the case, if you have beliefs like that, I invite you to come onto my truck, come onto my ambulance, and respond to these calls where you get to see the amount of patients that refuse my life-saving medical transport for a $1,500 ambulance fee. And that's not me being dramatic and making up numbers. That has seriously happened, and I've had to respond back to these addresses 4 hours later coding that same patient. If people can refuse these genuine life-saving medical transports for a $1,500 ambulance bill, the amount of student pilots that are no longer going to be able to fly, both at whatever flight school that may be, whatever recreational pilot that may be, is going to be a very significant increase. And that includes members of the Civil Air Patrol, Young Eagles, that all use Vance Brand as a hub. That includes me personally, as soon-to-be second lieutenant, who help train younger 17, 18-year-olds to be able to participate in some of these search and rescue missions in the mountains. That's going to deter all of them. And that's going to suck for me as someone, who helps run and helps lead these squadrons, to be able to tell these young 13, 12-year-olds who have dreams of going into the Air Force Academy, who are trying to go into the Innovation Center, CETC, that, hey, Longmont's, it's going to be that much more of an increase. So, it's going to turn down a lot more pilots, and not even looking at the numbers, there's going to be significant backfires that you're not going to be able to see just looking at the numbers. This will hurt a lot of student pilots, young kids that just want to go fly. So, thank you.
Thank you. Gwen Sullivan.
Hello, my name is Gavin Sullivan.
Gavin, I'm sorry.
No, I have a terrible handwriting, so not your fault.
Thank you.
I'm a soon-to-be K-State graduate. I just recently moved into the Longmont community here the last 3 months. When I was looking for places to move to, I spent countless hours scrolling through the internet to try to find locations that fit what I found as a good spot to live in, and Longmont tended to be the #1 spot. And so I moved in here 3 months ago. I am a student at Vance Brand as well as an employee at Vance Brand. I speak to hundreds of people that come into Vance Brand to do and spend multiple hundreds of dollars on gas and all sorts of things. And I think a lot of these people said some things that I want to say with like safety and the ADSB and people trying to hide the factors that they're landing and all that kind of stuff. I also think that a thing that's been glazed over is that people are saying these landing fees will bring more money into Longmont. What I've seen and what I've heard, I'm not going to speak for anybody or any company, but I know that I'm talking to my boss about the fact if I'm going to have a job in the coming months, just because financially, multiple pilots have spoken about not coming to buy the gas that's slightly cheaper at airport because they're going to spend the 20 cents more at another airport so they can avoid those landing fees, et cetera. Me as a pilot, recently, 2 days ago, I flew around the pattern and landed 11 times. And can't even imagine the $250 and $400 I spend on a single flight that I do 3 to 4 days a week to try to excel my piloting career, on top of the fact that I work 2 full-time jobs and I'm still finishing my last semester at K-State. It's just a lot and a lot of money. Just a couple $50, $60, $70 is very, very effective in ruining my pilot career, and I think many others. I think safety is a big problem. I think the companies that are at Longmont are going to be hurt rather than helped. I think it will remove money rather than bring money. And yeah, I think everybody else really covered what I have to say, but I urge you to vote no on this, especially for not knowing the facts that are coming to you. I mean, as somebody said, you guys were very, very confused last meeting, and it felt like it was just pushed with Sean's motion. You guys just kind of voted on something that I wasn't even fully understanding what was going on. And then at the beginning of this meeting, more confusion about what's going on. I think facts need to be come up. I think you guys need to look at more factors rather than just landing fees. Even if you do bring landing fees, do other things, and implement amendments that don't affect people that currently are based on this airport. I mean, the gentleman who pays for the hangar and all these fees on top of that, I don't think it's fair for us as students and people who pay those fees on top of those to have to be charged more. And then also on top of everything else, the Vector stuff and all these other airports that are doing it, none of them charge anything under 12,500 feet, or 500 pounds, sorry. And yeah, I urge you to vote no, and urge you to think about me and other students that are pursuing something in their dream. So thank you.
Thank you, Gavin. Scott Stewart.
Mayor Peck, members of council, Scott Stewart, 229 Grant Street. This ordinance is a simple way to allow the airport more options when dealing with the budget issues. The airport is an enterprise zone. This means it sets rates and fees to meet the budget needs. There are not enough options on the revenue side of the budget to sustain a long-term budget needs. For years, the airport has failed to address the budget issues. The airport blindly relies on grants without reserving for the long-term obligations that come with those grants. The airport keeps asking the city for forgiveness of the financial obligations for services the city provides, is a backdoor way of allowing taxpayers funding of the airport without asking taxpayers. The airport is not going anywhere. It can't. The city has agreed to terms that require it to operate for at least the next 20 years. There's not enough time to rebut all of the claims made tonight, so I'll just address one. Rio Vista. Rio Vista was used as an example airport. What that person failed to include was the details behind Rio Vista Airport's financial challenges. A look at Rio Vista's city budget shows $1 million plus loan to the airport that the airport budget can't begin to repay. Please don't allow our airport to create that type of burden on our city. I'll address one other thing that somebody said, wow, $1,800 a year for a ground lease. Please ask the other person that owns the trailer park what their seniors pay for land lease at their trailer park. I'm sure it's more than 37 cents a square foot. And I'm sure those people that are living in the trailer park would love to pay the rate that the airport hangars people do. This is pretty simple. It's a clean ordinance. If you haven't read it in the audience, please read it. Pass the ordinance, do the study. Let's keep moving forward. Thanks.
Thank you, Scott. Seeing no one else on the list, I'll open it up to the general public. Is there anyone that would like to speak? You have to do that. This is a public hearing, and we do open it up to the public.
Thank you. My name is Clark Allen. I live at 1127 Twin Peaks Circle. You're really at an inflection point when it relates to Vance Brand Airport. You can vote to have this airport community finally stand on its own 2 feet, or you can fall for the same old rhetoric. Just keep us on the welfare train, give us more hard-earned city citizens' money and dollars, and we promise we'll find a revenue stream in the future that will be extremely profitable. It's finally time for this airport to stand on its own 2 feet. Landing fees need to be there, and they need to be large enough to cover the costs associated with this airport. And to just highlight one thing, everyone should go back and look back at 2017 when there's a really nice article in the Daily Camera that pens the fact that this airport has been unprofitable and has continued to claim that we're going to find a new revenue stream, we're going to be profitable, we're going to make it there. 2017. Think about the number of years, and I'm sure if I looked harder, I could find more from there. But it's important to recognize, please do not fall for the same rhetoric that says, we can make you money, we promise. They've been promising since 2017. Thank you for your time.
Seeing no one else? Okay. Go ahead.
Hello, I'm Trevor Eady, 1810 Jefferson Avenue. I'll be brief. I started my morning in Boston about 3:30 Denver time, so I'll try to be legible verbally. The short version is, in Boston, the only people who can afford to go there because of the landing fees are the people who don't notice. They swipe the credit card that has no limit, and the landing fees go away. Everyone else avoids that airport because any airplane, regardless of how big or small it is, airliner or otherwise, is immediately costed by thousands of dollars of fees. I speak to this as a charter pilot who did that and now reformed United Pilot, so different. Having now come here, we don't see the kind of traffic that would benefit from that. The kind of income you would get from landing fees here is not going to offset the harm you're doing to the people who generally would pay for them. So we talk about, oh, we don't have the data. Great, don't make a decision. That's fairly common sense, I think, at this point. I've talked a little bit about investment. I have an airplane. I keep it based here in Longmont. It was my first priority in life before trying to buy a new car or get a house. It was what was important to me, and I still am waiting on those other things. As anyone who's tried to buy a house might have noticed, it's pretty terrible. But I'll tell you first that having a hangar, I would go for that first. So if anyone wants to move in that direction, I'll be your first buyer. One hangar, please. So that's your return on investment for building hangars or whatever other avenue you want to pursue. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
My name is David Shankbucks, 191 Niwot. I ask you to please reject this ordinance. I haven't heard anybody come up with any information about how you will identify who's landing and how you will go about collecting that from someone. That less than 1 mile of runway at Vance Brand gives all of us access to the entire country. That runway is part of the national transportation system. We can go to 5,000 other non-towered airports, a bunch of towered airports. A landing fee at Longmont Airport, to me, would be the same problem that you would have trying to collect a toll fee on 287. It's a part of the national transportation system. I again urge you to reject this ordinance.
Thank you. Seeing no one else, one more. Lance. Okay.
All right. Mayor, council, my name's Calvin Fowler.
Can you move up a little closer? Thank you.
My name's Calvin Fowler. I've grown up mostly in the city of Longmont. I currently reside at 2233 Squire Street. I work at the airport, and I see the people every day that come in and read Longmont City is considering council landing fees. And I see the people that scoff at it, and I see people who, on the other hand, also always ask about hangars at Longmont. And so I'm not saying that you should build hangars because it's a huge expense. You should very much consider it. However, I am aware of a previous plan to build more on the airport that seemed to have happened in 2014 that was not done. And so in some ways, I feel that that ship has sailed to make larger revenue off the airport. Recently, I flew into Omaha, Nebraska. It's a large airport. It's 3 10,000-foot runways. I was not charged a single landing fee. So before you consider these landing fees, please consider that even larger airports are not charging landing fees to smaller airplanes. Because myself, and I think a great many of the pilots in Longmont, will be driven away by these landing fees. Thank you.
You're welcome. I will now close. Oh, I'm sorry, Lance. How could I possibly forget you?
Mayor and Council, Lance Whitaker, 1750 Collier Street. Been a big fan of the airport ever since I've been here. Used to work for Flying Colors in the Sandblast department, and we'll not talk about that job. That was quite a nasty job. I do not support landing fees, mainly because it hurts the student class, and I feel as, you guys as government, you guys should be looking at supporting students rather than charging them extra. We should be looking at reducing the cost of education. So just keep that in mind when it comes to landing fees. There's got to be a better way to do some revenue in that airport. I've heard a lot about hangars, and I know they'd love to have some hangars and a longer runway. So there's got to be better revenue streams than landing fees that'll hurt our students. Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too, Lance. And now I am going to close the public hearing on 2025-75 and ask for a vote. Second?
What was the motion?
To move 2025-75.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong, I pulled up the wrong one.
Yeah, 2025-74.
If you would like, does council want a presentation from Sandy Cedar? She said if we wanted it, she would provide it. So can we just do a yes or no?
I think we could wait.
So all of those who would like the presentation, please say yes or no.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All those who do not want one.
I don't think we need it. I think it's premature.
So we will not have a presentation. Thank you, Sandy, for being here. And we've had the discussion on this before we had the public invited to be, I'm sorry, before we had the public's comments. And that is the way the second readings go. That is the process. So the motion has been made. Can we reiterate the motion? Who made that?
I did. Just to move the second.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's right here.
Oops, wrong one.
This is just to move it forward based on what Councilmember Yarborough was suggesting in regards to having this move forward in the second reading. It's just putting it, like our legal counsel has advised us, just putting it in the system as a potential tool that then later we can discuss, after we get our report back from Sandy, we can decide what those fees would be. They might be zero, they might be some sort of specific dollar amount, but that's the only thing. And that's where I think the confusion was, because it looked like we had to choose between that in last month's, and I want to straighten that out for folks that thought that was.
So are you making a motion to move 2025-74?
I am.
Okay, do I have a second?
I think you seconded it, but I think there's some. Yeah, I just.
It
wanted
is
to read-
incorrect.
I wanted to read.
Hold
Put
on.
that back up.
Yeah,
I was gonna just read it out.
I don't see it.
It's on mine. I can read it.
Okay, please do.
Yeah, you can,
I don't have it.
It has been seconded by Mayor Peck, right? Did you second it?
Yes, she did.
Yes, she did. It was seconded by Mayor Peck. But just, this is a bill for an ordinance establishing landing fees at the Vance Brand Municipal Airport. And this does not set landing fees, and it is.
No.
It does not set an amount.
No.
Now, with the motion that Councilmember Yarborough made is separate and apart from this one.
Correct.
This just gets it on the docket.
Correct.
So we can tie that
Yes.
at a later date.
Okay, so it's been seconded. The motion was made by Councilor McCoy, and I seconded it. And let's vote. No, we're not discussing it. We discussed it before.
I just read the.
She just read the, do you have the motion up?
Point of order. Point of order.
Yes.
Mike, for a second. So as a point of order here, my understanding there's discussion, then there's public hearing, and there can be more discussion or motions
No.
and discussion on motions.
No.
That is always how we do this.
No, it isn't on second reading.
That we've always had discussions on motions. And
Okay.
that is parliamentary procedure and Robert's Rules of Order. For the same reason, like, I actually wanted to offer an amendment to this if we were going to move it forward and have discussion on that. I don't know when else we'd have a moment to
Go
indicate
ahead.
that.
And
But right now, there is a motion on the table and a second, so we would have to consider that motion, unless it's withdrawn, according to Robert's rules. That's the procedure that we
can
follow.
go ahead and make your amendment for your suggested amendment.
And McCoy can accept it.
Sure, I expect that there'll be discussion on this, but I'll offer the. There were a few points of discussion I wanted to offer on both what the Airport Advisory Board discussed last week that were relevant, but I want to keep this focused for now. I'm just genuinely perplexed because normally we allow for multiple points of discussion before and after public hearing, typically before it's clarifications and questions, before we get into the public hearing, like we did earlier for the urban renewal topics. Anyway, I hope I have the opportunity to offer that information, but for now, the amendment that I was hoping to provide, if the proponents of this would accept, or I guess in general, I'd love to have a discussion on this, I wanted to propose that one of the exemptions, that the exemptions be expanded here to, it currently reads in items, what is that? In section 2, item, where did that go? In section 1, item C, there's an exemption for military, medical, and emergency operations, including but not limited to flood or fire mitigation operations, that those shall be exempt from landing fees. I wanted to also add an amendment to include to exempt non-transient aircraft, sometimes known as based aircraft, but I think non-transient is the most inclusive of whether you pay a lease or are based there. That's the amendment I wanted to offer. I feel like that's a little bit out of place in this process, but that's where I wanted to take this discussion if people felt like they wanted to advance this further. I genuinely don't know what comes next because we had a different motion on the table.
Well, what comes next is that you need a second for that amendment, and to see if it would be, McCoy has to accept it as a friendly amendment.
You accept it as friendly.
I will not be because of this. The reason is this. We don't have that data. We do not know what we are going to be finding from our report from Assistant City Manager Sandy Cedar and her folks that are going to be looking into this. And so we also need to know what that revenue is. We haven't considered looking into the idea of adding this to our future contracts, like we would with a fee, like somebody buying a golf membership for using the golf courses, that sort of thing, and that or an annual golf membership, and that once we find out what that looks like, then we can look at this, and that's the only reason that goes the same for looking at students. There is a cost to all these things. I see people going to CU. They get degrees there that have nothing to do with sports medicine or sports or athletic aspects of that university, but they certainly pay a fee for a college coach, and literally for decades to have to get their degree. They also have up at CSU, they have a new stadium. Those students are never going to be able to apply that university stadium to their degree because so many of them aren't getting anything associated with sports and athletic management or anything like that. The ones that are getting their veterinarian science degrees and other stuff like that are never going to be able. They're not going to be able to parlay or leverage that degree because they have a huge new stadium. So in this case here, I just think that that is the cost of getting your certification, your flight, license. So until we find out the data, I don't think we need to start putting in any other extra provisions. We just need to keep it clean and then get the information, and then we can still come back and make some adjustments. And that's the transparency that I think we need to focus on. And that doesn't do anything other than make sure that we have that information. We had a person come up about talking about information, and that's what I want. I want information. I don't want to do this, month in, month out. I would like to get the information correctly, where we're all satisfied in the community to move forward, and not with any sort of provisions that we don't know that should be or shouldn't be cut out.
So does that mean you're not accepting my amendment that was offered? Okay. Well, I think what I was suggesting was a policy preference that was related to the overall operations. Clearly, I recognize that you're not offering that. So I guess I'll just say thanks to everyone who has provided some data and examples and anecdotes and other ways to invest in the airport. I think we're trying to figure out the right approach here. I don't think we've landed there. Exactly. I'm a little confused as to where we are now in this process. I'll just say, I'm open to all revenue sources that, including landing fees that can be applied. But I think we want to think about the system. I don't think we've had that conversation, and I'm confused that we haven't been able to have that conversation tonight. So I don't want to delay this or prolong that, but I think we should start fresh with the next council. I will not be supporting this at this moment.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments? If not, let's vote. Oh, there it goes. And this failed with Councilors Christ, Popkin, Rodriguez, and Yarbrough against. And myself, Mayor Pro Tem Hidalgo Faring, and McCoy for. Thank you, everyone. I want to thank the advisory board, the residents, and council for the discussion and consideration over the last year, basically, that we've been working on this. And if I'm correct, Sandy, in your presentation, you were saying that the motion to do this was in 2024. So it has been 2 years that we've actually been working on trying to figure out landing fees. So thank you, everybody. Let's move on. The next one, we're still on second reading. Let me pull it up. We are at 2025-75. This is the bill for an ordinance making additional appropriations for expenses and liabilities of the city of Longmont for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2025. Is there any discussion from council or questions? Seeing none, I'll open up the public hearing on 2025-75. Is there anybody in the audience that, or in the chamber that would like to speak to this bill? Seeing no one, I will close the public hearing and ask for a vote. A motion, I'm sorry. It's been moved by Councilor McCoy, seconded by Councilor Yarbrough. And did you see that process? There was no discussion after the motion. And in second hearing, that's what we usually have done. So let's vote. And that passes unanimously. Thank you. The next one is 2025-76. This is a bill for an ordinance authorizing the consent, the consent to Vance Brand Municipal Airport lease assignment for hangar parcel H33E to hangar 33 LLC. Is there any discussion about this bill going forward from council? Seeing no one, I'll open up the public hearing. Is there anybody in the public that would like to discuss this bill? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion.
I'll move ordinance 2025-76.
It's been moved by Councilor Christ, seconded by Councilor Yarbrough. Let's vote. And that passes unanimously. The next one is a bill for an ordinance approving the Fourth Amendment to the lease for Vance Brand Municipal Airport, parcel SWP1. Are there any questions or comments from council? Seeing no one, I will open up the public hearing for 2025-77. Is there anyone from the public that would like to address this bill? Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing and I'll ask for a motion.
I move ordinance 2025-77.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilor Chris, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Hidalgo Faring. Let's vote. And that passes unanimously. 2025-78 is the next bill, and it's for an ordinance amending Title 15 of the Longmont Municipal Code concerning water-wise landscape. I can't bring it up. Water-wise landscape and crime prevention through environmental design practices. Is there any discussion or questions from council? Councilor Popkin.
Which one are we voting on right now?
2025-78.
78.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see the continuation. Thank you. Okay.
I made that mistake as well when I first brought it up. So no conversation or questions from council. I'll open up the public hearing on 2025-78. Is there anybody from the public that would like to address this? Seeing none, let's vote. Or make a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilor McCoy, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Hidalgo Faring. Let's vote. And that passes 6-1 with Councilor Christ opposing. The next one is 2025-79. It's a bill for an ordinance amending Title 15 of the Longmont Municipal Code. Oh gosh, I'm having a hard time. Municipal Code concerning eligibility for application fee waivers for conservation overlay zoning. Is there any discussion or question from council? Seeing none, I'll open up the public hearing. Oh, we have a presentation.
Just a couple of clarifying comments. Following the
Thank you.
Jennifer Hewitt-Apperson, Planning Development. Following the first reading, in reviewing the proposed ordinance, noticed that there was a word that needed to be changed, and so at this moment, staff is suggesting that council replace on page 2, line 8 of the proposed ordinance 2025-79 to strike the word residents and replace it with property owners. So that would be the second criteria for consideration. It erroneously had residents when it should have had property owners. So we would
Okay.
offer that amendment or request that council make that amendment.
Okay, thank you very much. Counselor Hidalgo, I'm sorry, not Counselor, Mayor Pro Tem Hidalgo Faring.
Okay, so then I would move that we amend this ordinance to change the word residents to property owners.
Second.
Oh, do we need to do that before? Do you want the correction and then the public hearing? So then people are speaking on the amended?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Eugene?
Eugene, do you have an opinion about order there?
Mayor and council, I think you could do it either way.
Okay, let's go with,
Thank you. Have it amended and then we can.
did you make that motion to
I
amend it?
did.
Yeah. Did I get a second on that amendment?
I seconded.
Okay,
Sorry.
so it's
Mayor,
been,
I seconded.
thank you, Counselor Christ. So the amendment to the ordinance to replace the word residents with, and you amended it with,
Property owners.
with property owners was made by Mayor Pro Tem Hidalgo Faring and seconded by Counselor Christ. Is there any other discussion?
Just on the amendment.
Let's vote on the amendment.
Do we need to wait for Councilmember Popkin?
Where'd he go?
She went to the bathroom.
Okay.
I'll open the vote.
Thank you. Yes?
Councilmember Yarborough's motion earlier, still carry through?
Yes?
Okay, so.
No.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's okay.
I'm just trying to make sure I've got it straight in my head.
Yeah, I thought you,
So we'll still
it's true.
have discussions about
Hmm?
landing fees and stuff potentially.
Well, there he goes.
Not really.
He just walked
Because
past.
we didn't pass the ordinance to do anything. So the next one can do whatever they want.
Can we just vote? 'Cause, let's just vote.
All right, let's vote on this, please.
Oh, without him?
Yep. Do you need to verbalize?
Well, you-
Playground.
Yeah. No, it's like my student.
There he is, right there.
Where the heck did you come from? You were over there.
We are voting on 2025-79, the amendment
Okay.
to the ordinance. So let's vote, please.
Mayor Peck, I don't show your vote.
I haven't, I thought we were waiting.
Okay. And Councilmember Popkin, you voted? You voted?
Great, that passes unanimously. Now we need to vote on the ordinance as amended. I move
Oh, and then
2025.
we need now we need the public hearing.
Yep.
Okay. Are there any more comments from council? Seeing none, I'll open up the public hearing on 2025-79. Is there anybody in the public that would like to discuss this? Seeing no one, I will close the public hearing and call for a motion.
I move.
Councilor Popkin has his light on.
I was just going to thank the residents who have asked and communicated on this before, and then move to approve ordinance 2025-79.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilor Popkin, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Hidalgo Faring. Let's vote. And that passes unanimously. The last one, 2025-80, is a bill for an ordinance. Is a bill for an ordinance approving a development agreement with Tebow Properties to design the first and main transit center in a transit-oriented design project. I just want to say I'm very happy to see this in our second reading. Is there a presentation on this or
If council wants a presentation, we can. If not, we can answer any questions.
Okay, Councilor Popkin.
I'd like a presentation on it. But maybe I'm in the minority here.
I mean,
I think this is a major opportunity and moment for downtown. I would love a presentation on this.
Okay, Laura, we're ready for that.
I, they're saying.
All right. Thank you, we are ready.
All right,
If
thank
you
you.
are.
All right. First and main development agreement. This is the Phase 1 development agreement for just the design of the project. Just a quick summary of what the project entails. This is a partnership between the City of Longmont, Tebow Properties, and RTD, the Regional Transportation District, to construct multimodal transit facilities with a mixed-use development at First and Main in Longmont. Ultimately, the development will include a garage facility with 10 bus bays and parking for RTD with residential units, commercial space, and additional parking for residents and visitors. We're going to do a phased approach to these development agreements. The first will establish the concept design for the garage facility. And by the term garage facility, we mean the bus facility and the RTD parking. Phase 2 will then be the development agreement for the construction and financing for both the garage facility as well as the mixed-use development project. So the Phase 1 development agreement has several components to it. The first is the garage design timing, and we do realize that we do need to get these concept plans done in order to have the construction of the garage facility completed by December 31st of 2027. We are also engaging a design team to cooperate both with the city and with the RTD, with whom we have signed an IGA previously. City obligations under this agreement entail the city contribution to the project, as well as discussions with the Longmont Urban Renewal Authority and local taxing entities to address gap funding solutions for the project. We also discussed preparations for the plans for the project, as well as set the negotiation period for Phase 2. Just a reminder of where we are. The map on the left is the Southeast Longmont Urban Renewal Plan area, and the zoomed in area is the series of properties at First and Main. And you can see the red line is the boundary for the project. So just some deadlines that we have already established. The first is the original IGA with RTD set us to complete the garage by January 31st of 2026. And we, in discussions with RTD and CDOT, discussed extending the contract to the end of 2027. Kaufman Street Extension is going to be built by the end of 2026. And as I mentioned previously, the garage should be constructed by the end of 2027. This is just a breakdown of the mixed-use development of when activities would begin and be completed as per the project. So as you can see, we've started acquisition of the properties, as well as remediation and demolition. We're now in the process of the Kaufman Street and infrastructure design process. So funding of the project, RTD provided $16.4 million for the construction of this garage facility. The city is providing another $8.5 million and is responsible for any additional costs above and beyond that. We will be exploring additional financing sources to fit any funding gaps to ensure that the project is completed. And as I mentioned, the project is located within the existing Southeast Urban Renewal Plan area, and we will look for funding in partnership with that. So just a quick summary of transportation. It includes the construction of Kaufman Street between First and Boston, including the wet and dry infrastructure, water quality facility, as well as other infrastructure improvements according to the infrastructure master plan. And that the extension of Kaufman Street will serve this bus rapid transit facility. And then, as we mentioned, planned future rail service of the Northwest Front Range Passenger Rail would be across Kaufman Street from this area. So the garage facilities will be designed in compliance with the IGA that has been previously signed with RTD. The facilities will be owned by the city, and there will be an operations and maintenance agreement between the city and RTD, and then RTD would operate out of the facility under a long-term lease agreement. So properties have been acquired. You can see in blue the properties that the city has acquired, and then Tebow Properties owns the properties in red on the two corners of the project. Abatement and demolition have begun. You can see the city has demolished nearly all of our properties, and we did work closely with Longmont Fire to utilize the vacant buildings prior to demolition for training exercises. And that is the summary.
Great. Are there any questions for Laura? Laura, thank you. This is very exciting, finally, to see it come to fruition. Seeing no questions from council, I will open up the public hearing on 2025-28 It's 80. It's Diane Chris, Councilman Chris, took over my entire screen. Mm-mm. So, thank you. I will open up a public hearing for 2025-80. Does anybody want to speak on this about our transit station? Seeing no one, I will ask for a motion. And close the public hearing. Councilor Popkin.
I would love to motion to approve item K.
Seconded.
It's been moved by Councilor Popkin, seconded by Councilor McCoy. Let's vote. And that passes unanimously. Thank you very much, Laura. We are now at items removed from the consent agenda. People have been getting up and down here. Do we need time for a break? Staff? No? Okay, we're going to move to items removed from the consent agenda. And we'll start with A, and I think that Councilor Popkin pulled this. Councilor Popkin.
Thank you, Mayor Peck. Yeah, I just pulled this for one or two clarifying questions on this before we vote on the resolution. So this is an amendment because it's the first amendment because it's kind of the first full year for the Ride Longmont funding, correct? And this is kind of that first this next installment, correct? Is that?
Hi, good evening. Kaylee Fallon, Transportation Planner and Project Manager for Ride Longmont. So it's the first amendment to the IGA with RTD because we aren't changing the IGA with RTD. The amendments that we are bringing forth are due to the fact that we were awarded an additional $1.4 million for a second round of RTD funding through the partnership program. I actually do have a presentation that kind of gives a high-level overview if we'd like to do that. Sure.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay, good evening, Mayor Peck and council members. As I stated, my name is Kaylee Fallon. I'm a transportation planner with the city and project manager for the city's microtransit program, Ride Longmont. And this evening have a presentation to kind of walk through what the amendments to the IGA with RTD look like and just a high-level overview of how Ride Longmont is doing. So first, just want to extend a congratulations and thank you to Mayor Peck as well as Phil Greenwald, who is now retired but was the previous transportation planning manager, for all of their hard work in making Ride Longmont a reality for the community. And also, of course, want to thank all the other council members for your ongoing support of this program. Ride Longmont has been a huge success. It has exceeded our expectations and certainly the expectations of our operator via transportation. What that success looks like in terms of data and numbers, key performance indicators. We've had over 60,000 rides since the launch date of December 9th, 2024. So we are coming up on almost a year of the program. And that's averaging out to about 5,000 to 6,000 rides a month and about 150 to 250 rides per day. And so when I say that exceeded our expectations, we did have to increase our vehicle hours that were outlined in our contract with VIA Transportation in order to meet the demand from the community. But overall, this has been a huge program success, and anecdotally, above and beyond what the data shows, anecdotally have heard from our community members what a great benefit that Ride Longmont provides to the community. This is just some anecdotal feedback, as I mentioned. So this first person here, talks about how they waited less than 10 minutes to be picked up, and they'll never have to miss, an RTD bus again, or wait in the cold should the bus not come. So really kind of speaking to how the service is able to fill the gaps in our fixed route transit network. The second bullet point, again, kind of very similar. This person talks about how the closest bus stop to their house is, 20 minutes away, and they have an injury, so they're not able to walk to that bus stop, but they're able to take Ride Longmont to be able to, address that, what we call first and last mile problem. And so they're able to take Ride Longmont to the bus stop, and they love the service. So, and then that last bullet point there just really highlights how great the drivers are and how wonderful their experience on Ride Longmont has been. So really just wanted to bring that to you all to show, first slide is the data and key performance indicators, and then here's some anecdotal feedback from the community on how successful this program is. So getting into the resolution and the amendment for tonight. So everything in our current IGA with RTD regarding the partnership program funding remains the same, except for Exhibits A and Exhibits B. Exhibits A are the vehicle service hours, and Exhibit B is the budget. Both of those are increasing due to the fact that we were awarded a second round of RTD partnership program funding in the amount of $1.4 million for this round. So that brings RTD's total contribution up to $2.5 million. Again, that is the 1.15 from this past round, the 2023 award that we were awarded, plus the 1.4 gives you that 2.5 from RTD. And because we are, extending the service and increasing the vehicle service hours, it will also have to be increasing the city's local match. So this new Exhibit B amendment also says that the city will contribute about $4.3 billion towards the cost of operating the service. Here is the grant funding breakdown, just in a kind of easy to digest chart. So like I mentioned, that first round of RTD funding that we were awarded in 2024 is that 1.15, and it goes through 2026. And then that next row down, we were awarded some federal funding, some congressionally designated spending, or CDS, through Representative Negus's office for $1 million. And that funding kicks in 2026, goes through 2028. And then this round, what we're talking about tonight in the amendments is that second round of RTD partnership program funding, $1.4 million from 2026 through 2028. And that's the breakdown of the fiscal years. So with that, I'm happy to take any questions, but staff does recommend that you move to approve the amendment to the IGA.
Thank you. Are there any questions from council? Thank you for all your work.
Thank you, Kaylee. Thank you, Cami. Really appreciate it. Thank you to all of the staff who may be behind the scenes as well, who aren't up front, who have helped work on this. I will move to approve this resolution. Where did it go? Resolution 2025-64.
It's been moved by about Councilman Popkins, seconded by Councilor McCoy, to move 2025-64. Let's vote. And that passes. Councilor Popkin, I think you had the next one as well.
I did. And I don't know if there's a presentation for this, but I did have a specific question on this one. So we're talking about this is an intergovernmental agreement between the city of Longmont and the city of Fort Collins for the Flex Bus service. And Cami, I believe I sent you an email with my question on this, which was, it's a decent amount of money, and I was just curious what the ridership and utilization of this route is when we're thinking about all of these different intergovernmental agreements and partnerships. So I was just hoping you could clarify that for me.
Correct. I would say on page 10 of the IGA itself, there's a few numbers for you to look at. I didn't bring, so 2025 ridership isn't necessarily done yet. And I would say Longmont's had pretty consistent ridership for the last few years. And so overall, you can see the number that's presented there is that we're about 10.
Did I miss that on page, past the signatures?
Yes, sorry, it is past the signature page.
Oh, in exhibit B, thank you. Oh, no, I saw the percentage. I was wondering, what does that actually translate to in number of passengers?
Yeah, I might have to just follow up with you. I didn't bring that with me tonight. I should have
Oh,
predicted you were
okay.
going to ask ridership numbers, but I didn't. I'm sorry.
Sorry if that was unclear
Oh.
in my,
Kaylee got it pulled up.
great.
Just follow it over, just right there. 161,252 boardings
As of 2024.
through 2024.
So just for the year of 2024 or okay, so
That was for each month added all the way together for all of 2024 total.
so calendar year 2024, it was 162,000 boardings.
Yes.
So that's total flex. And then,
Okay, that's a lot more than I expected.
sorry, so that's total flex ridership, and then Longmont's the percentage.
Yeah.
So then Longmont's 10%.
Oh, we are
So just
10% of that.
Of that, yes. So that's where the
That-
10%, and we've been consistently at 10% for years now.
That,
Yes.
that's,
Probably more in line on what you were expecting then, yes.
yes, okay,
Not
so we're
just
looking at
Longmont
about
the 162.
just under 18,000
There we go.
Longmont riders. Okay. Okay, thank you. So then if we're looking at, we're spending 300, we're spending that divided by 18,000. So we're spending about $7 per person. Okay.
And 26 is going to look a little different since Loveland is no longer continuing in the partnership. So there'll be some level setting that happens again in 2027. So our amount did go down in 2026. It may look a little different moving forward of what will become the new normal 2027 going forward, with Loveland deciding to do something different, kind of running their own service and charging a fee. All of the other partnerships that are part of the Transport Flex route from Fort Collins to Berthoud to Longmont to Boulder, all are committed to wanting to keep the service fare-free. So there'll be some level setting that will look different between 2026 and 2027 compared to what it's looked like in the prior years.
Great. Thank you, Kemi.
Yeah.
And thank you, Kaylee. So that basically looks like this is a route that starts in Boulder, ends in Fort Collins, or vice versa,
Yep.
and goes through Longmont. In case you didn't know, here's your PSA. We got a route that connects you up to Fort Collins with
Yes.
this flex.
Thank
you
you
very
for
much.
the PSA.
And since she's talking about the changes over time, I think the other thing is the FRPR conversation. And as that continues to develop, because if they're able to get that finished, then that intercity rail may
Change utilization.
change this dramatically in terms of how we're looking at the future.
That's a great point, actually. Is this used as a commuter route mostly? Do we have a sense of like what the times of service that are busiest?
Yes, definitely. And I know Longmont has a pretty good high use on the weekends, on Saturdays, as well as weekday service. But there's a lot of commuters and students using it between Fort Collins and CU.
Great. Cool. Well, thank you. Seeing no other mics on, I will move to approve Resolution 2025-66.
Excuse me, my hand is up.
Oh, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
it is.
Yes, it is.
Missed that, sorry.
Counselor Crest.
Thank you, Mayor. Pam, did I understand you to say that Loveland is changing to a price structure for the flex service? Are they using the same bus, though? Is it still going to stop in Loveland?
So that there will no longer be, so on this route, Loveland is deciding to do something different inner city. So it will change that the number of stops available along the route is changing through the Loveland segment. But otherwise, it's all remaining the same through the rest of the corridor.
So since Loveland is not contributing, flex is not going to stop there.
Correct, yes, it's a change in that service.
Now, in the past, I think the fee was $1.75 maybe to go from Loveland to Fort Collins. Are you saying that it's now free? Well, good. Well, that's good. And then I guess I wish the ridership was more. But I'm glad that we have it available for people from Fort Collins. So those are all my questions. Thank you for all you do, Kim.
You're welcome, thank you.
You seconded it? The motion to move 2025-66 was made by Counselor Popkins, seconded by Counselor McCoy. Let's vote. And that passes unanimously. I think you had, what was your next one? I did. I thought you had one after that.
I have D.
Right.
Mayor.
Okay, go for it, Counselor Christ.
Thank you, Mayor. I actually have I have one question. Maybe it's simple, maybe it's complex for you, Ms. Cassidy.
Good evening, Councilmember Christ.
Good evening. Hey, I was looking at the chart, and I just wondered if you could offer some clarity about the 4.5 water shares that are being reduced to a 50%, 50% of free shares, 50% ownership of free shares. Can you just walk me through that, please?
I'm gonna let our conservation easement program manager do that.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Sarah Krejcia. So yeah, there's currently 4.5 shares tied to the property, and the proposal is to reduce that to 3.3 shares. And the original intent was that Boulder County would receive, or the grantees would receive a 50% interest in that. But that never occurred 20 years ago. So this amendment is also making sure that that transaction does occur.
Okay,
So there will.
50% is going to Boulder County.
Yes, and they will, as the lead, basically conservation easement manager, for the last 20 years, we agreed that that would be the most appropriate way to do this and the most efficient.
And the 1.5 shares is staying with the Oriole property,
So three shares will stay with Wood Meadows, and then 1.5 shares will go to the Oriole Farms property, which is about, they're pretty comparable in acreage, and they have the same private landowner. So it's the same family that farms them. So then both properties will have 3 shares. So making their farming operations more effective.
Okay, so we actually will have control over all 3 shares. It's just that Boulder County will also have an interest in the shares.
Yeah, and they're doing it as, like, we will still, as the co-grantee, we still have things we can do in case that Boulder County doesn't, fulfill their end of the agreement, which, they haven't done. They're really good at monitoring these easements. But if, in case of abandonment, things like that, that's where Boulder County will come in and make sure that we avoid abandonment. And then we have rights to do that if Boulder County fails to do that.
Okay, yeah, so it's extra protection, extra muscle behind the shares.
Correct.
The utilization of the shares. Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay.
I just wanted to have all that clarified.
Okay, thank you.
So appreciate your time.
Thank you.
If no one else has any other questions, I will move resolution 2025-67.
Second.
So moved by Diane Christ, Counselor Christ, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Hidalgo, Fearing to move 2025-67. Let's vote. And that passes unanimously. Thank you. Counselor Christ, did you pull B as well, 9B? For some reason, I have you down. Okay. Then I pull.
I did not. I was on D. So, yeah.
Okay, I misunderstood that. I pulled 9E, which is 2025-68. It is about the Alta Vida. My question is, when we had the presentation, we voted for a 50-foot variance. Do I have that correct?
Good evening, Mayor Pat. Zach Blazig, Environmental Planner. Yes, that's correct.
And then it was mentioned that they were going to do a 25% agreement for landscaping? Is that 20, did I understand that it was 25% or 25 feet?
25% additional green infrastructure is the condition.
So 25% of that, is it from the sidewalk or is it 25% of the 50 feet?
It's throughout the entire site. the condition is to add 25% additional green infrastructure to specifically mitigate heat island effect.
Okay, thank you. That's exactly what I wanted to know.
Yes, ma'am.
And with that, I'm going to move Councilor Popkin.
I think you clarified. I just wanted to say thanks for clarifying that. I thought that was important to do. So thank you.
Thanks. So for that, I'm going to move 2025-68. Can I have a question? Second. And it's been seconded by Councilor Yarbrough. Let's vote. And that passes unanimously. We had a couple of other J and K. Were those both yours, Councilor Popkin? Okay.
And really, they're linked, so I just pulled both. I only had comments on one. So this, if I recall correctly, this goes back to kind of the whole Distal Tull discussion and the open space adjacent to that. And we're looking now at the open space intentions there. And I just want to say, I think that this council heard the public feedback on kind of the broader open space conversation. I think this is a piece of that is relevant there to help expand our open space. I just want to thank you guys for the work on pulling this together and all the negotiations that went into this. Could you remind me of the scale of this? We're talking, was it 17 acres of a site that we're looking at?
Yes, just shy of 17 acres, correct. Yep.
Great. And then this is directly adjacent to other open space properties that we have to the north, I think it is, right?
Councilor Popkin, that is correct. We have many city owned adjacent properties. We have our Sandstone Ranch to the north, Sherwood Open Space to the west, and Distal Open Space to the east.
Great. Well, I appreciate all the work that went into that. And unless I don't see a hand or I don't see Mike, so I will move to approve Resolution 2025-73.
It's been moved by Councilor Popkin, seconded by Councilor McCoy to move 2025-73. Let's vote. That passes unanimously.
And I don't actually have any discussion on the next item, so I'll just move to approve Resolution 2025-74, similar topic.
Second. It's been moved by Councilor Popkin, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Hidalgo Ferring to move 2025-74. Let's vote, please. That passes unanimously. And that ends all of our pulled items from the consent agenda. And now we're going to move on to general business. Do we need a break up here? Staff? No? The first thing on general business, two resolutions governing the provision of public education and governmental access television service and authorization. The first one is 2025-75. We're going to take this individually. Our 2025-75 is a resolution of the Longmont City Council approving the City of Longmont Services contract for public educational and governmental access television services. Do we have a presentation? If you would like, Mayor. I think we do. Are we all on board with that, except for Councilor Rodriguez? Okay. We're going to do it anyway.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Lindsay Diamond, Communications Director here at the city. We're here to just do a brief overview of the Public Educational and Governmental Video Services contract. Earlier this year, Council directed staff to issue a request for proposals for Public Educational and Government, or PEG, video services. LPM, or Longmont Public Media, holds the current contract for these services. Council subsequently directed staff to also evaluate providing these services in-house and to conduct a cost comparison for both methodologies. Staff issued the RFP in August and received one proposal. I do want to add some numbers, thanks to Valerie Scott for helping with this. So 619 vendor registrants were notified, 39 downloaded and at least one of the RFP documents. 15 were located in Colorado, 4 in Longmont. 2 attended an educational meeting, and then we received one proposal. And Longmont Public Media was the successful bidder. From there, staff evaluated 6 options ranging from fully in-house to LPM only. For the fully in-house operations, the cost was around $344,000 with high transition risk from moving with our current contract to all in-house. For the LPM only models, the base contract was $194,500 to a fully plan with some of the add-ons at $304,461. What we present is the recommended hybrid option that balances the budget compliance, production capacity, risk mitigation, and operational flexibility. So after negotiations with LPM, a hybrid option is proposed. In this option, LPM is contracted to record all of our government meetings and events and handle all the public access programming. City staff would increase the internal video production services by hiring 1 full-time videographer. And this hybrid option allows for flexibility in city video production and the continuation of public access. Just as a reminder, the funding for this service comes from 50% of the franchise fees, which we estimate to be about $280,000. So the LPM base contract is $194,500, and that covers the things on the right side: all city council, planning and zoning, advisory board meetings, emergency meeting coverage, crisis communication videos, captioning and accessibility services, and 24/7 emergency broadcast operations. We've added additional services for 25 hours per month for complex special projects for $16,250, and a city videographer, which is converting an existing part-time position to full-time for $68,711. And as you see, we come in just under the 50% of the franchise fees. So some of the key benefits of this hybrid model: it fits within the available budget. It provides us with 143 total production hours per month. That's inclusive of the 25 hours from LPM and our city videographer. This has minimal transition risk, no equipment purchase or new hiring required. We'll have direct city control over internal communications through a dedicated videographer, and it maintains proven LPM service delivery for government meetings and public programming. It also maintains the volunteer network infrastructure, and we're ready to launch January 1st, 2026. With that, council options are to approve the contract, to modify, or to not approve the contract. And we do have the additional recommended option. So per the purchasing code, this contract is decided by city council. Council can also give direction to change this in the next purchasing code revision. So with that, thank you, and I'll just leave that up there.
Thank you. Council have any questions or discussion? Seeing no one, thank you very, very much. This was great, but don't go away.
Okay.
Councilor Popkin?
Thank you. I just was hoping you could clarify for myself and members of the public what the additional services include when we're talking about, I think it's obvious when it's recording the city meetings and various hearings and stuff, but what's included under the contract in terms of specific activities?
For the 25 hours a month that we added on. Yeah, so you can imagine a couple examples are we live stream a lot of events, cultural events. It would be challenging to do that with 1 full-time videographer in the city. So having the additional 25 hours with LPM gives us the opportunity to expand some of our programming, things like the live streaming of parades and cultural events. We just wrapped up a project on the Elder Exchange with the Northern Arapaho. We would not have been able, we may not have been able to do that with all of the other projects with 1 full-time city videographer. So having those 25 extra hours a month allows us to expand and work with a great partner on some of those projects.
Got it. Thank you. And is this an exhaustive list, or are there other things that LPM can do that would fall under that additional services category if we thought, for instance, it was more valuable to do X rather than the certain videography services, for instance?
That may be a contractual question outside of my expertise. We do have the contract, what is covered in that contract, that base contract. For those 25 hours, I think we have flexibility on what we use those 25 hours for, but the contract is pretty clear on what.
It does say videography services specifically, I guess. So it would just be different types of videography services that would, I guess, be within bounds.
In the base contract or the additional services?
Additional services.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, Thank you for clarifying that.
And I would like to thank LPM with those additional contractual services for filming our RTD FRPR event in July. Councilor Yarbrough.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say thank you, Council, for indulging me in, coming back from CML and helping to make this happen. Thanking staff for putting in that extra work to see what it would take to have it in-house and what would it take to have just LPM. And I would like to thank LPM as well for indulging in actually applying in everything, because this is what makes us better. We know what we can do, what the capacity, what we have and what we can't, and utilizing our partners and people who are experts as well. So with that, I would like to move Resolution 2025-75.
It's been moved by Councilor Yarbrough, seconded by Councilor McCoy to move 2025-75. Let's vote. That passes unanimously. Thank you. Now we're on the other resolution, 2025-76. It is authorizing the City of Longmont to lease the real property known as the Carnegie Library Building located at 457 4th Avenue, Longmont, Colorado, the premises, to Longmont Public Media, the tenant. Do we have a presentation on that, or is it just straightforward? It's pretty straightforward. Is there any discussion on council? Seeing none, I will move 2025-76 and seconded by Councilor Yarbrough. Let's vote. And that passes unanimously. Thank you, LPM. All right, we'll move on now to the final call of public invited to be heard. Is there anybody in the public? It looks pretty empty out there. Thank you. So I'll close final call public invited to be heard and ask for mayor and council comments. Councilor McCoy.
Thank you, Mayor Peck. Mayor Peck, I want to echo what others have said tonight about thank you for your leadership, and I want to thank Councilor Yarbrough and Councilor Rodriguez for their leadership and participation in councils, and just wanted to show my appreciation for all of you.
Thank you. Councilor Yarbrough.
Thank you, Mayor. I too want to say thank you for having the opportunity to work with you all, and it has been quite fun. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. And
Yeah, that's enough.
so thank.
Make a liar out of you. Yeah, don't go any further, please.
No, is to be the first time ever being in government ever. I think I'm truly blessed to have had you all as my co-counselor. So I'm truly thankful, and I thank you, Mayor, for your leadership, and even the previous counselors who were on when I were on as well. So, and Dawn, you are the bomb.com. I would not be able to operate and do anything without this wonderful woman right here beside me and keep me straight. And thank you, staff, for all that you do and tolerate me when I don't know what the heck what's going on. So thank you so much. That's all I want to say.
Councilor Christ. Whoops.
Thank you, Mayor.
Hang on.
First of all, thank you for allowing me to attend the National League of Cities Conference. Also, I want to congratulate my fellow councilwoman, Susie Hidalgo Fairden, for being successful in the mayor race. And I look forward to collaborating with you in the future while you're in that seat. Also to Councilor Hopkins for winning his seat after his appointment. And to Councilor Yarbrough and Councilor Rodriguez, thank you for all the tutelage. You've taught me a lot during the last 2 years, even so far as helping me with preparing for NLC. So thank you for all that you've done for the council and the city. And totally understand if you never want to come in here again to see us, but we'll miss you. We'll miss you a lot. Oh, and Mayor Peck.
What?
I feel very bad about missing your last full council meeting.
Oh, that's all right.
Because I really have appreciated sitting next to you and learning from you throughout the last 2 years. So,
Thank you for that.
yeah, I really will miss you. It's a real feeling of loss for me, actually, to miss this last meeting in person.
You're going to make me cry.
Oh, I'll work on it harder.
Okay. Counselor Popkin.
Thank you, Mayor Peck. Congrats as well to the mayor-elect, Councilmember Hidalgo Ferring. Looking forward to working with you. Genuinely want to thank all of my fellow council members for their coaching and support and feedback this year on various things. I know I asked a lot of questions this year. Much of that was because I was learning on the job, but I appreciated the extra time in meetings and outside of meetings that you all provided. Council members Yarbrough and Rodriguez, thank you for your leadership and support over the last 4 years. I have no idea how I'll feel. I know how I feel after less than one, so I have no idea how I'll feel after 4 and 8 years, but thank you for your service to the community, your perspectives, and your thoughtfulness throughout many different topics before I was appointed and now. Mayor Peck, thank you so much as well specifically for your coaching and feedback and institutional knowledge that I think you can't read in a book, you can't read in an article somewhere. There's so much that you and others here have accumulated and understand about this community that I only aspire to. I know there was some confusion tonight, but truly thank you for guiding us through so many different topics and complicated topics this year. Really, really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to say thank you to this council. I have to say after the three, oh, you're going to go next.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Sitting through 3 different councils, this has been the best. I think that we've accomplished a lot. And it's messy, because that's what democracy is. It's messy. And people get frustrated. Everybody has different ideas, but at the end of the day, we do make a decision. And I do know that some of the other councils in Boulder County cannot claim that. So I think it is, thank you, everybody up here, for putting up with me, and see you around town. Councilor Yarbrough.
Okay.
Oh, see why I'm leaving? Go
Peace
for
out,
it.
everybody.
Go for it.
No, I just, I'm going to reserve my comments until the outgoing reception. So I will be, we do have that time. So put a bookmark in all your comments, because you're going to say them again on December 2nd at 5:30 for our outgoing reception at the city, at the mall upstairs, and the swearing in on that later that evening of the new council. So, yeah.
You sound like a mayor.
I'm working on it. And no meeting next week.
I know. City manager remarks?
Mayor Pro Tem Hidalgo Ferring, or Mayor-elect Hidalgo Ferring, took what I was going to say, because I have a spot on the program. And so that is where I get to talk about the 8, 10, and 4 year, maybe 10 years with you, Mayor Peck.
9.
9. So I get to talk about it then.
Oh. City attorney, do you have a place on the program?
No place on the program, Mayor. But I didn't want to leave those parliamentarians out there losing sleep. So the withdrawal of the motion was correct. I got Robert's rules right here. Until the motion is stated by the chair, it is the property of the movant to be withdrawn at their discretion. Once the chair states the motion, then it belongs to the assembly, and you would have required a vote to withdraw the motion at that point. So because the motion hadn't been stated, it was up to the movant discretion to withdraw without second or without a vote.
That is a fantastic thing to say at my last meeting. Thank you very much.
Okay, no further comments, Mayor.
She has validation.
I move we adjourn. adjourned.
Second. Second. Third. We are adjourned.
Yes.
Good night, Diane.